me try this. Let's cheers. Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't cheers in a couple episodes either.
Have we not?
I mean, we
didn't.
normally do, but I feel like it's normally not like, oh, cheers.
Cheers.
It's,
Well, hold
it's
on,
mainly
let's
just
get
like
this
a.
right.
It's mainly just like a in conversation. We're like, oh,
This
cheers.
has got to be a Ken type of cheers. All right.
How do we do that?
You just understand. You got it. I know you understand the assignment. We saw the movie. A Ken cheers. Ready? Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Horses and the patriarchy.
Mine has more alcohol than yours does.
Mine has even more alcohol than that alcohol does.
My alcohol is the stronger kind of alcohol.
Oh yeah, well mine alcohol is the strongest.
God damn it.
Dude. God damn it. Hi everyone.
We are freaking back, everybody. You
Back
know what it is, and if you
basics.
don't know, if this is your first time here, welcome.
Hi.
This is Too High for TV, where two guys get too high and talk about a little bit too much TV.
Just a little bit.
I'm one of your co-hosts, Ryan.
This is the other co-host Daniel.
And yeah, we're just here. We talk about TV, and you guys, as the audience, you guys are there to decide whether we talk about TV too much or not enough.
Yeah.
I sometimes I think it's not enough.
I do too. I don't think there's ever been a time where I think we've gone too much.
We're like, damn,
Yeah.
this episode needs to end.
In retrospect, there's times where I'm like, ooh, that was a long episode. But while we're making them, I never, never really want to stop talking about that stuff.
So I see you're double fisting or triple fisting with
Triple,
the water,
technically, yeah.
and the Monster Energy,
Yeah.
and the looks like a.
It looks like a chemical serum.
It does look like a chemical. It looks like freaking. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna drink this and get superpowers.
This looks like the shit that blew up in Bruce Banner's face.
Yeah, but no, this is just this is just our own concoction of tequila and jarritos. Jarritos can't go wrong. And a perfect mason jar.
Yeah, honestly. Literally.
It says perfect on the
I don't know
mason
if that
jar.
shows up on the camera or not, but I hope it does.
What is it? The ball. If you guys have ever used a ball mason jar,
You know.
yeah, you guys know. If you've used any mason jar for anything,
Then you know.
then you know.
Mason jars are real cups. Any other cup is a fake cup, except for a coffee cup. If you pour coffee in it, that is also classified as a real cup. But otherwise, it's mason jars or die.
Yeah, I mean, I really do like a good red Solo cup as well. Like,
A red Solo cup? Okay,
that's
Fair.
classic.
That is
Especially
classic.
if you're at like a party and you just write your name on it, like that's your cup.
That's yours. You own that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can take it home if you want.
Yeah, if you
Because
want.
I don't want it. I'm not gonna drink out of it. After it's all done.
Yeah, of course. Why would you?
Yeah. I'm just a sucker for a good cup, bro.
So Solo cups have always felt like a utility, like a tool,
Yeah.
Like a
It's
cup.
like a mason jar.
Yeah, because we were talking about that earlier. A mason jar can be a multi-tool.
Mm-hmm.
You can drink out of it. You can also store shit in it.
Yep.
What else can you do with a mason jar?
You can eat shit out of it.
You can.
Yeah.
I think you could maybe grow shrooms in a jar
Probably.
at first.
Yeah.
I think you need to transplant them, or I don't know how that works.
Yeah. I think you need a bigger apparatus to grow
it.
mushrooms.
I
Because
like
I've seen certain things where people grow mushrooms or whatever, and it's in this weird incubator type
incubation.
shit.
That's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah.
I'm just like, are you hatching eggs in there? Or you
Yeah.
growing mushrooms?
Honestly,
I could do both.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same apparatus.
What do you want me to do?
Has
Grow
mo-
mushrooms or hatch some chicken eggs?
Yeah, it's got multiple applications, much like the perfect mason jar.
This episode is brought to you by Perfect Mason Jar. Drink it, eat it, store it, whatever you want to do.
There you go.
Perfect Mason Jar.
Boom. Sponsored by Ball.
You can put weed in here. That's normally what I do with mason
100%.
jars.
Yeah, for
when
sure.
I'm freaking, all you guys that grow weed out there, if you've ever grown weed and you need to
Store that shit.
store that shit, you need to. Fuck, what's the process I'm thinking about? I haven't grown this year, so I don't even remember the processes. Oh, when you're drying that out, when you're curing it.
Curing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Those are mason jars are the best thing because they create a nice seal.
Mm-hmm.
They just hold a lot, and it's beautiful because you can look at your weed through it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing that I really liked, when I could just sit there with a big ass fucking jar and be like, wow,
See it all packed in there tight.
I grew this.
Yeah.
And it looks beautiful.
The fruits
And
of
it
your
smokes
labor.
beautiful. Yeah. I do miss growing. I didn't grow this year, but
Yeah,
next year.
I didn't even think about that, honestly, till you brought it up.
Next year.
Yeah. Is it too late now?
You can if you want, but I like the full season of growing from
Okay.
April to, October.
Yeah, for sure.
But, I've just taken the time this year to go on some trips, hang out with family, and do stuff that I don't normally do because I'm You know, when you're growing, it's a full-time job basically, because you're out there. Before I would go to work, I would wake up like 5-6 o'clock in the morning and like check on the plants, water them, do whatever I need
Yeah.
to do, and then like eat breakfast, get ready for
Yeah,
work and stuff
yeah.
like that. So it's a whole nother ordeal. Then you
the
get
first
home
thing.
and you're like, fuck, what's going on?
Gotta
You know,
check
looking
on
at them.
them.
Especially if it's like a hot day or something. Like
Sure.
we've had some pretty hot days.
Definitely.
So those would be days where I'd like go to work and I'd be kind of like stressed out because I'm like not there, and I'm like texting my dad or something like, hey, can you like do this with the plants?
Check
If they're
on the
droopy,
babies. Yeah.
if they're droopy a little bit, can you just like check the soil, give them a little water if they need water,
yeah.
you know? But it's been nice to just be like, you know, chill. Like I'm going to Hawaii this week, so I'm excited for that.
Very nice.
God damn. But yeah, guys, we will not.
Have an episode.
We will. By the time you guys hear this, it'll be Friday, so the episode will be out.
But what are we on tonight? Is this 69?
Oh no, this is 67.
Oh, 67. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, I jumped way far ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
67s. Yeah. So 68. We'll have like a week long delay.
But then don't you go to?
Oh,
would
shit,
you go to?
yeah.
Would you go to Disneyland?
I think that is actually when you get back.
Yeah.
So
So it's all good. We'll have like a nice couple weeks where we reset. We got some new scheduling that we're gonna start.
I was about to say,
so
we can start fresh.
Exactly.
When we both come back from vacation.
It'll be nice, you know.
Yeah.
And vacation is nice, you know.
Yeah.
As much as I love doing the podcast and I love like hanging out and doing all this stuff, it's nice to just like get away and just not have to worry about anything.
Any responsibilities. Yeah.
Like how long you going to Disneyland for?
I think we're only there for like 3 days. It's not like a long time, but
that's like a full Disneyland trip.
Exactly,
Anyone
yeah.
that's gone to Disneyland, you know, 3 days is like
Perfect.
that is the full experience.
Because you
Disneyland.
get to do one park, or at least we're talking like Disneyland, right? Like Los Angeles. You get to do one park one day, another park the other day, and then decide which one you want to go to, or if you ball out and you get the park hopper or whatever, then you can jump back and forth or whatever. But I agree. I think 3 days is kind of the perfect time frame.
I think the Park Hopper Pass is like the good way to go.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you want to experience both.
Yeah, you want to experience both. If you tend to like one a little bit more,
Yeah.
you know, then you can hang out one a little bit more, but you know, go back and forth.
I think they both have their like draws and drawbacks. But I think overall I like Disneyland more than California Adventure.
I haven't been in so long, so I can't even say like
Which is which, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be
the last time I went
Yeah.
was Cars Land was being built.
built. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember you said that. Yeah, I have gone. I think twice since Cars, because I think I've been to Cars Land twice, which is awesome. That is one of the ones that you definitely need to hit when you go back.
Yeah, see, I've never experienced that because like I remember when I was going, like I like shit like the Bugs Life shit like that.
That's
like that.
gone now.
Yeah, that's gone now. But
yeah.
like that shit was so cool. Like when
Yeah.
when you're like a kid and you're like, oh my god, like they're immersing
I'm
you into a
tiny.
fucking movie,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, big time.
And Cars was one of those ones when I was a kid. I fucked with that shit.
Yeah, Cars is
so
awesome.
hard.
Yeah.
you know. And then the what was the song that fucking what was like the song that went along with that song?
Oh,
Or with that
Rascal
movie?
Flats, right?
Yeah, Rascal
Life
Flats.
is a highway.
Dude, that song.
I wanna drive it all night long. Yeah, it's good
You're
shit.
going my way. Oh.
I wanna drive. Yeah, it's a good song, dude.
Yeah, it's such a good song. But yeah, that was like that was a big movie in my childhood that I loved it, you know.
Yeah.
And just the fact that I've never been to fucking Cars Land hurts my soul, you know,
Yeah,
a little bit.
it's really cool. Yeah, it definitely is. It's just like a perfect recreation. It looks exactly like you would expect it to from the movies. Obviously, it's not animated, but it looks beautiful. It's fun during the daytime. Much cooler at night.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because of the neon.
I mean,
fluorescent
I think the
lights.
park is just like a lot cooler at night, you know.
I think so too. Because there's something fun about I think Main Street
Yeah.
Disney during the day, right? It just feels so like. Welcome to fucking Disneyland.
You just feel like you're in a Disney
bitch.
movie. Yeah, you feel like you're in a Disney movie.
Yeah, 100%. But no, I agree. Everything just feels like a little more lively at night. When all
This
the
makes me want
lights
to
are
go
on
to
and stuff.
Disneyland so bad, dude.
Oh, dude, it's awesome, man. I've been telling. We need to plan a homies trip where if we can fucking swing it all at once, is Disney and Universal. Because Universal's got some really cool shit too. There's
Fuck
Harry
yeah.
Potter Land, which you haven't been to yet, right?
Dude, I've never been to Universal.
To Universal? Oh,
No.
dude, Universal's sick. It's a different type of I get like amusement park. I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess you could call it that.
It's an amusement park.
Yeah. But it's still very fun in its own right, for sure. And then yeah, Potterland is awesome. And Super Mario Land is also there now, which I have not been to
damn.
since then.
And isn't Universal doing like The Last of Us like Halloween shit this year?
Yes, yeah, they're doing a haunted house.
I think we need to go to that shit.
I'm super down. I would love to do that.
I'm too
that
down
sounds
for that
great.
shit, dude.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm down. Plan an October trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, 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 If you could make like another like park like in Disneyland, like what kind of from like another Disney
Property?
animated movie?
Oh,
yeah.
dang. That's a good question.
Question of the day here on the podcast.
I would... You know what I would like? Big Hero 6.
Big ooh,
Like a
okay.
tech demonstration type of thing that has, Baymax and all the homies or whatever. But it's just like a science expo basically, but Big Hero 6 themed.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could turn the... What do you call it into that? The expo center that they have? They put like the... That's where they started putting the Marvel stuff, like when it first got bought by Disney and everything. I feel like that'd be fine. That'd be cool. Yeah, I don't know. What about you? Do you have one in mind? That is a tough question.
I think like I think I'd be down for a full on like Toy Story.
That would be cool.
I
Yeah.
think that'd be sick.
Like you are like the toy size?
Yeah, put me in Andy's room.
Yeah, but it's the whole park is
Yeah.
Andy? That'd be fucking cool.
That'd be fucking sick,
hell yeah,
dude.
that would be cool.
Yeah, and just you have all the toys everywhere.
Yeah.
And like fuck, because like the Buzz Lightyear ride is so fucking sick.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's one of my favorite rides.
Astro
for sure.
Blasters.
Yeah, shit's awesome. And
Yeah.
like just you can like do so many different things. I think
Oh, yeah,
with
most
fucking
definitely.
with that shit, you can have a fucking like a Woody's Adventure like ride type of shit where you're like in the Woody like cartoon. You know?
Yeah, like you're like riding Bullseye.
Yeah,
and, like,
that-
going
yeah.
by the train and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Disney, if you're listening to this, you better fucking cut me a check if
Do
you
it,
fucking do
goddamn
that
it,
shit.
yeah.
But I think that'd be pretty cool.
It would be awesome. Do you remember the beginning of Toy Story 3? It's
not
like
really.
it's an epic set piece with everybody. It's like the happy high before the sadness that is the rest of that movie.
Yeah.
But like everybody's in it and there's like a car chase and everything and like what's his name? It's not Mr. Pig. What the fuck is his name? The piggy bank guy. Porker? Something.
I don't remember.
He's like the bad guy. He's like the dastardly villain and shit. And he like tied somebody. He tied up what's her name? I think Bo Peep or something like that, like on the train. And it's just like this epic sequence. It would be cool if they did that
Oh,
because like
fuck yeah.
everybody's in it. Like
Yeah.
Rex is there being a dinosaur and shit. Like
Hell yeah.
it'd be fucking awesome.
You can also do like a fucking Sid's Backyard type fucking.
Oh yeah, make
type
it like
shit.
not like straight horror, but like a
No.
little bit more scary.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that'd be-
Disney. Listen, motherfuckers. We know you are.
They've probably thought of that. They've
Oh,
probably
yeah.
been in like the meetings like, hey, what if we do a Buzz Lightyear
Yeah.
land?
Somebody
you know?
pitched Toy Story for
Yeah.
sure at this point. Yeah, they do have California Adventure, if I'm not mistaken. Now has a new Toy Story ride,
Ooh.
which is, I mean, not like.
I mean, they've
new.
revamped California Adventure, right?
Oh yeah, a
Where
bunch
like
of times.
Screamin' is now like the Incredicoaster or
Yes,
something like
that
that.
one's cool. I like that one. I think I was talking with my Theo recently, and he was saying he didn't like it so much. I'm down for it because like California Screaming didn't really like have a theme. It was just like California fun, which is like, I don't know.
I mean, I kind of liked the Screamin' because I thought the whole idea was the fact that you just took off so fast and everyone's like screaming. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, that's fucking cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. There's something really dope about being on a roller coaster, seeing what they're like snapshots when you go through the humps basically of the roller coaster, right? So like when you're coming over the top of one and about to drop, the little covers in there have little action set pieces
Okay.
going on. But there's just something awesome about being on a roller coaster, hearing some fucking Incredibles jazz, bro.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, when you're on there fucking fuck, how does it go? I was gonna sing the Mission Impossible theme song, but
Dude, I don't remember how the
it's
Incredibles
fire
one
though.
goes.
That I do remember. The Incredibles soundtrack is awesome.
Dude, the Incredibles is just a great fucking.
It really, that was the first thing that popped into my head when you asked the question, but then I thought to myself, like, I don't really know how well that would do as like a full section of the park.
Yeah, I don't think there's too many like I mean, Incredibles as a whole is iconic, but I don't think there's too many iconic just like set pieces
Yeah,
from the Incredibles
like
where you're like,
locations,
where
yeah.
you're like, oh, that can be,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas like Toy Story, you have like the room. You know what I'm saying?
and all the toys you can theme
Yeah.
it around. Yeah, no, most definitely. But yeah, Incredicoaster is really fun. But yeah, that Toy Story ride though, it's basically just Astro Blasters, honestly. But it's like full Toy Story, like all the people, and I think you do go through like screens of Andy's room instead of like Buzz Lightyear shit only.
Nice.
So it's cool. It's not bad.
Or maybe even like a Wreck-It Ralph type fucking.
That could be fun. All like the video games that they have. Yeah, that would be cool too. I'd be down for that.
You can make like the hub of it like the fucking the power strip that they're all in when they fucking.
Yeah. The before they jump into all the different games and shit like that. Yeah, no, most definitely that would be cool. And then you walk through those like games and it actually takes you to those like little mini sections of the park and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
They can make a ride like the fucking like the race that they do like at the end, you know. It'd
Yeah.
be like a Cars ride
Yeah.
type shit, but you know.
Definitely. You know what else I think would be cool too? Just popped in my head right now. I would be down for a Mulan.
Oh.
A Mulan land. Like
Fuck, that'd be fucking dope.
you have like fucking like animatronic Mushus everywhere or whatever, you know, just like
Oh wow.
I don't know how, but if they could get Eddie Murphy back to just like spit a bunch of jokes into a fucking thing for one weekend and just run those on repeat.
Yeah,
like,
fuck yeah. Damn, I didn't even think about that. That'd be super dope.
That would be cool too. Because then you're basically just going to ancient China, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that one works just like set wise because there's a bunch of different iconic just like locations from that movie in general, and then just like visually you have like the culture to go along with
you
it.
have real
and
life history to pull from.
And it just looks beautiful too. Like
Yeah,
that'd be a
100%.
beautiful thing to. Wow.
Yeah, Mulan would be cool.
God damn.
Yeah, I would. But I don't know. Toy Story is also a really good one too.
Aladdin would be another good one.
Aladdin would be cool. Yeah, that one would be fun. You could do like the.
Do they have any like Aladdin rides or anything
No,
like that?
I don't think so. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think so. I don't know if they've ever made one. It could be that in Disney's past there was one.
That'd be dope to have like a magic carpet, you know?
Yeah, 100%,
like ride, like
yeah.
on some
I
freaking
can show you
like I'm
the
soaring
world.
like soaring through California type
Sure,
shit.
yeah.
That's another fucking
Soaring
dope one.
yeah, that one is fun.
I
That
love that
one's soaring over the world now.
Oh fuck!
So
dude.
you go, or no, sorry, or is it? I can't remember if it's the world.
We can't just soar over California
No,
no
not
more.
anymore. Yeah, I can't remember if it's soaring over the world now or just soaring over the U.S. But it's definitely more than just California now. So there's a lot of them. Yeah, it's a bunch of different stuff.
That's cool.
I think it
guess.
is over the world because I think you go over the Great Wall of China.
That's
I think
cool.
you go like through the desert, like the big deserts and shit like that.
You go to the pyramids of Giza.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, yeah, I think you do. I think you
That's
do.
dope.
Yeah. Yes, I think it is soaring over the world.
That's cool.
It is. It's
But
just,
there was just like a thing about it being just like soaring over California. You know?
it's a weird thing because it's like I imagine that people like rides that like you and I know and love from when we went as kids in Disneyland are probably the ones that replaced the ones that our parents grew up and loved, right?
Uh-huh.
So like I think it's just that time
It's just a cycle.
yeah, they have to update and remove shit. Honestly, unfortunately, I think some of the rides that they built from time to time like aren't really up to standards at this point, you know? Some of them are pretty long-standing holdouts. Like Indiana Jones has been there forever.
Yeah, you and Diggs were talking about that
Yeah,
one.
Peter Pan has been there forever.
Peter Pan. Which one's a Peter Pan?
You never been on the Peter Pan ride?
Which one?
You
I
just sit in
probably
the
have.
cart and like kind of go through the story of Peter Pan, but it's like all miniatures. It's like not like super tiny, but like each set is probably like maybe the size of this plus another room, and you just like kind of go through it and you see like the Jolly Roger. I think that's what the ship's called.
I feel like I probably have because
Yeah.
I went definitely like a few times when I was younger.
Yeah, that's an old one.
But I probably don't remember.
Yeah, that's a good one. I actually really like the Peter Pan ride, but yeah, there's a lot. Pirates of the Caribbean is another one that's been there forever.
Dude, that one's so crazy that was a fucking
Ride first.
ride first.
They made a movie out of it.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. No, they have a theme of that now too, because there's that one, and then there's also Jungle Cruise became a movie. That's a ride at Disneyland as well. Have you been on that one before?
Yeah, I've been on Jungle
Yeah,
Cruise.
yeah.
Is that like a good movie though? It's a
Actually-
more modern one, isn't it?
It is, but I liked it.
Okay.
When I watched it, and I don't particularly love The Rock. I think you know that.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy this movie. There are
Okay.
two movies that come to mind, like right off the bat, where I actually do like The Rock, and it's that one, and the other one is Red Notice, the one with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, when they're like
him
the
and
secret
Gal Gadot.
agents.
Yeah.
Dude, that one's such a good one.
That's really
That was
good,
a surprisingly good
Yeah,
one.
that one was really good. Yeah. But yeah, no, Jungle Cruise was pretty cool. It's like not anything to write home about, but I would say it's got like enough pizzazz to be a fun movie. I had a good time with it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
The Jungle Cruise. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other ones. I feel like there was one more that they did as well. I thought,
But yeah, that just blew my mind that it was like a ride.
yeah.
And
For
it was
so
like one
many
of it. I
years.
think it was like one of the last ones that Walt Disney like came up with.
Oh, before he
Yeah.
or like passed or turned it
Got
over
frozen.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they froze his brain.
I think they froze his brain, dude. They were doing some shit back then.
Probably. You know what I wonder is it's like when people talk about that, like we're gonna freeze their brain. It's like, okay, what are you gonna do with it? Like, I know that eventually, you know, it's with the hope that one day there's technology that would let you, in some capacity, like bring that person back to like consciousness. I don't think you're like bringing them back to life necessarily, because they died, and their body's gone.
I think that's just what it is like the hope of like, hey, we think that, you
We
know,
can restore their
whenever he
conscience,
passed away, they probably were just like, hey, we think that in the future they'll probably be able to just
They
like
can
bring you
do
back
it,
to
yeah.
life. So
Just
like,
keep-
what do you think? And
Yeah.
he's probably just like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it.
You know, would be a crazy movie idea as fucking Disney. Get the fuck off my back and don't steal this, okay? But it's in the future, and the technology does exist, but people have long forgotten about the cool magic stuff of the world. It's like a dystopian future, so nobody gives a fuck about happiness anymore, or like magic, right? So they figured out, and this fucking, I don't know, genius kid or whatever who like can do it on his own in his basement or some bullshit is like stumbling through like the ancient ruins of like the past society and stuff, and you see like broken down Disney monuments and stuff like that. And he fucking stumbles into the warehouse like really deep underground, and it's like Walt Disney's brain in like a cobwebbed fucking jar, and he takes it, brings it back to life, and it becomes like his robot best friend, and they restore magic to the world.
Wow. That'd be fucking awesome.
Pretty cool, right?
That'd be such a great movie.
Fucking do it.
They should just make Walt Disney just public domain, right? And
So,
then just,
yeah.
and then just give people the right to just do whatever.
Yeah, like just stories with
yeah,
them.
that'd be just sick, just to make a story about Walt Disney coming back, like in the future, on some
Yeah.
Captain America shit.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. Yeah, frozen in time. Yeah.
We need you to save the world.
Yeah.
Of animation.
Yeah. Everything's AI driven.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We need original ideas again, Walt.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow. It's like Terminator mixed with fucking what movie did I just say?
Which one?
I fucking don't remember.
Oh,
I have such a bad memory, bro.
I do too. I know. We're moving forward with the idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, my brain is just leaving everything behind. We're improvising. Is that the first yes and? one?
Straight up it is.
Yeah. Terminator meets fuck, what was it? God damn it.
Dude, right? Oh my god.
I was literally just about to say it again, like no problem, and then my brain was like, nope, you forgot that.
Fleeting moments, man. Life
Yeah.
is just but a string of fleeting moments.
Hey, you know what's great? This is recorded. So
Yeah.
if you really want to, you can go back and find out later.
Got to.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's bring back Walt Disney.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, in whatever capacity. Bring back the Disney magic. I mean, I don't know. Disney magic.
What if he is already brought back?
Like, and he's just like,
Yeah.
he's Bob Iger.
Yeah.
Like, actually, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? I mean, yeah, I could believe it. I could see it.
He's the one who made up freaking like what was like Soul. He made that movie and we just don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like the brains behind everything. He's, you remember the end of She-Hulk?
Yeah.
Kevin?
Yeah.
That's Walt Disney.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's just a giant computer now.
Yeah, we couldn't figure out how to put Walt Disney's brain into an actual body, so we
Yeah.
just put it into a robot,
Yeah.
right? And he's just now like,
Calculates everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's an AI with a human brain. So is he
Exactly.
really an AI? We don't know.
Is he really a human? We don't know.
We don't know. He's
Yeah.
both.
Yeah, exactly.
Dang.
He's a human AI.
That sounds like. Have you seen the trailer for the movie The Creator?
No, I don't think so.
It's from the dude that directed or made Rogue One.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Gareth Edwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
it
did
looks
Godzilla too.
Fucking dope.
Cool,
bro.
okay.
Like it looks so fucking sick. It's about like
that does sound familiar now. all of a
it looks
sudden.
it's like a future where AI like took over, but it's just like a bunch of robots. So like humans and robots are like at war,
Oh shit. Okay.
and like there's this like crazy weapon that the humans have to get. So like the robots don't get it because that can like decide the war or whatever.
Oh dang.
And they go to find out, and there's like this big door, right? And they're like, wow, this must be a crazy big weapon if it's behind this big door. And it's just like a little kid who's like a hybrid between like a human and like a robot.
Oh no way.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I'm
Yeah.
down for that. That sounds awesome.
Dude, it looks fucking dope because it feels like we're getting back to like, not that we ever left like creative like sci-fi movies, you
Sure,
know, but
sure.
like really good like original sci-fi stories. Like I feel like we're getting back to, you know,
Yeah,
something like that.
and we also-
even like 65, right?
65 is awesome. Yeah. We also just have like, I think part of what inspired all of those old sci-fi movies that we like love and revere so much were like the technological advancements that were happening at the time, and then the creativity that came along with like what will this be like many years in the future. So now that we're having breakthroughs of that like in our own world, like with AI, you know, that's like a gold mine full of possible stories and stuff that you can come up with, I think, you know.
God damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been seeing trailers for that a lot, and like that looks
good.
I'm so ready for that
I
one.
want to watch the trailer. I saw the release date's only September 29th. That's not very far.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a few months away.
And
it's my dad's birthday.
It just looks like visually striking too. Like it looks just like a beautiful movie.
The poster looked crazy for sure. Yeah, no, it looks cool. I like the look of the robots that they have, and then the like hybrid ones look trippy too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then fucking Denzel Washington's son. What's his name?
Yeah, I just saw it. Fuck. I don't know.
We're so bad. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. John David Washington.
John David Washington.
Yes.
JDW.
JDW.
He's a great actor too.
He is. I haven't seen him in a whole lot, but I do like him. Oh, the fucking, well, I don't know if he's the main guy, but one of the top billed cast members, Ralph Ineson.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Game of Thrones. You remember this guy?
Oh yeah, he plays just like a random fucking.
Yeah, he's one of, I think, like the red. Wasn't he part of the Red Army dudes or something like that?
I think so. But he just plays like.
Yeah,
a
he's
random
just a
fucking-
soldier. He's a guy or whatever.
Yeah.
He's the voice actor for one of the main characters in Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, have you finished?
Fucking no, bro.
God damn.
It's so I have also been the entire last week was like basically nonstop work on the movie that me and the kids are working on, which is finished
Nice.
and honestly kind of awesome. I want to show it to you.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
But
it's your first film, man.
it is honestly, yeah, and I'm pretty proud of the kids, man. We did a pretty halfway decent job. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty proud of it. But
yeah.
every single day for the last week, pretty much, aside from like Thursday and Friday, and then like the last couple of days of last week, I would just be at work filming all day with the kids for like what we have them for like 5 hours, like 4 hours of class time or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would come home and I would edit just like pretty much all night.
Mm-hmm.
So I have not really had a whole bunch of time to play as much video games as like I usually like to.
Mm-hmm.
I finally got back to it a little bit yesterday, and I was like super excited to be back. But
Fuck yeah.
but yeah, no, still not quite done with it.
God damn, it's a long game.
It is very long. It's really good though. It's stupid good. It's insane.
God, I need to get on that.
I really like it a lot. Yeah, yeah. The gist of it, I won't go into it too much right now, but the gist of the world is that there are these gigantic crystalline spires that protrude from the earth called mother crystals. And all of the magic in the world comes from these mother crystals.
Your mother crystal.
Your mother crystal, bro. And so people have found out that they can like mine these crystals and put them in little jars, and they keep them on their hip, and it allows them to do magic.
Wow.
They can manipulate shit and do little spells and stuff like that or whatever, and they tap into what's called like ether, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the regular humans. There are also people who are born with the innate ability to do magic, but they have been outcasted and enslaved by the rest of the regular humans. Bless you. Bless you.
Oh, thank you.
They've been outcasted. Bless you.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. And enslaved by all of the regular humans,
Oh, damn.
which is already crazy enough as it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the real kicker you learn eventually is like these people, they're called bearers.
Mm-hmm.
The more that they use their magic, the more that they draw ether from like the earth and the energy around them, the more afflicted they are by this curse that slowly turns them to stone.
Wow.
Until it hits your lungs and you stop fucking breathing and die. But like the mix of that being a side effect of using too much magic and them also being slaves creates this like horrible life cycle for these people who can do magic where they're just put to work to do magic shit until they turn to stone and die.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's fucked up. And so your main dude Clive is starts his life as a prince basically of like a duchy. Lives a very privileged life. He has bearers. He was always under the impression that like their kingdom was better because his father was always like good to bearers.
Uh-huh.
But it's like he comes to realize later like we were still keeping slaves, and even though we were being like nice to them or whatever, right? But a tragedy happens at the beginning of the game that I won't spoil. And it fast forwards a fat number of years, and he has been branded and has been a bear for like the past 13 years of his life.
Damn.
Until he runs into Homeboy, played by the Game of Thrones guy, Sid,
Mm-hmm.
who basically starts him on a path of like revolution and rebellion where it starts as vengeance and then it shifts into something even better.
Justice.
It's so good, dude. It's insane. It's really good. I will say this is that like the one thing, if you really do want to give the game a chance, the one caveat I will give you is that the voice acting can be really, really good at times, like really good.
Uh-huh.
The animations don't always quite match up. And at times it can feel like you're watching an English dub of an anime. So it's not gonna give you the best like performance. It's not like Spider-Man or like a God of War or like even like a Fallen Order.
Okay.
I would say those have like better voice to animation like ratios, you know?
Yeah.
This can feel a little stiff sometimes.
Okay.
But the undertone and what they're trying to tell with the story and the characters, I think makes up for it. It's pretty good.
Interesting.
Yeah. And combat's stupid fun.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
fucking fiery fun.
hell yeah. I think I'll like that.
Yeah,
I think
it's good shit.
I think I can get past the synchronization
The
of
stiffness,
like
yeah.
the animation and the voice.
Yeah. There's just a lot of times where like you'll have these really like potent, heavy moments that can sometimes even just be in like side quests. Like the game gets deep after like probably the first like I would say 10 hours, like when the world really opens up to you, which I know sounds insane. Yeah. But like that's about when it happens. But yeah, they're just kind of like standing there in like typical like gamer pose. Like, I can't believe you've done this. How could you do this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, like just turning back and forth to each other and shit. But it's good. It's a lot of fun.
Fuck yeah.
And combat is crazy good.
Fuck yeah.
Crazy good. A lot of
I
fun.
like that.
Good shit. Really good shit.
Hell yeah. I've been I started reading this book series because there is a show on it, a show about it on Apple TV called Silo.
Okay.
And
I
started watching it, and
based off a book?
I'm a big skip the intro guy, right?
Okay,
so when I skip the intro, it'll take you to the last like couple seconds, and the last couple seconds of like the screen that it shows on the bottom left corner, it was like based on the book series by blah 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 blah. I was like, oh damn, this is a fucking book series.
Yeah.
And so I went and I looked it up, and apparently it's hella good. So I was like, all right, let me give this shit a try. And I've been reading the book, and it's stupid good.
Yeah.
It is a crazy like dystopian future type story.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for the show.
Yeah.
So if it's similar, then yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, it's basically, if you guys haven't seen it, basically like the world has ended and the last remnants of human society are sort of buried underground, living in this big underground silo, this big cylinder that's just underground, and that's basically where they live. There's different levels. They have to follow all these specific rules, and one of the rules is like, hey, we don't talk about outside, we don't fucking go outside, we don't
like
think
Fight Club.
Yeah, we don't think about that shit, you know. But if people ask, so basically like people that commit crimes are committed to cleaning, which is like they go outside and they have this camera, this sensor that shows an image of the outside of their silo like up top, and it's basically just like barren wasteland. You see like a skyline of a city in the background, but obviously it just like looks fucked up.
Yeah.
And sometimes the camera will get dirty because, you know, as cameras do. And so basically if you commit a crime, they're like, hey, you got to go clean that shit outside. Once you're outside, you don't necessarily have to clean it, but we're giving you the option to clean it, right? And so like they basically just go outside and then they die after that, you know.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, so it's a crazy fucking series, man. Yeah. It's a lot of, there's definitely like a lot of twists and turns. I was tripping out because I finished watching the first season and I was like, all right, let me just start reading these books. And where the first season ends is like the halfway point of like the first book.
Oh wow.
So I was like getting to that point in the book where I was like, is like the book almost ending? And I was like, damn, no, I'm
halfway.
I'm only halfway.
Yeah.
So
I like that though, because I feel like sometimes TV or movie adaptations of books will try to rush over things. So the fact that an entire season is only the first half of a book, I think is cool. Yeah, they're taking their time.
Yeah, it's a good story. It's interesting like reading the book because there are some pretty stark like differences between the book and the show. Okay. Like whereas like where like characters that they're focusing on a lot in the show aren't necessarily like the focal points in the book. Okay. Like the rapper Common plays this character in the show, Mr. Sims, who's like the head of like security basically. And in the show he's a very prominent figure. Like by episode like 3 or 4 he has like a whole episode basically just like on him. Whereas like in the books he's just kind of been a side character who's just like here or there. Like he's kind of there every now and then, but he's not like the main focal point, you know.
I wonder if the series is either skipping ahead on some stuff there, because maybe like in the book series he becomes a more important character later, so the TV show's like, let's set him up now, or if they straight up were just, you know, pulling like a Last of Us almost, right? Like let's take this tiny thing from the original source material and expand on it.
I don't know, because like where I'm getting at like in the book, like there's like a whole different character that's in his position.
Oh, okay.
Because
so it's like some character swapping, probably.
Yeah, but it's like, but the character, it's weird because the character that's supposed to be in his place in the show, that's in the book, is like in the show, but he's like a lesser character, like in the show.
It's
weird. Like and that's the thing. I don't know if they're gonna like do more stuff with that actual character. So the character that I'm talking about is Lucas. So like Lucas, him. It's weird, not hard to describe. So basically, like in the show, people have these jobs, and like when you want to be in that position, you shadow someone. So everybody has like a shadow, right? And there's this character Bernard who has this very important position in the show and in the book, and I'm not going to explain what it is, but just know it's a very important position, and like that position is very hard to find shadows for.
Okay.
In the book, Lucas becomes his shadow, but in the show, Mr. Sims becomes his shadow.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's a very big change.
Interesting. I wonder how fans of the book series prior to the show feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, like I said, it's weird because up till the point, and I'm like a couple hours away from finishing like the audiobook, so I'm pretty much almost done. Like he's still not even like the Mr. Sims character isn't even like a big character at this point. Like it feels like they've kind of taken him in the show and kind of carved out like a whole different character arc for him and made him like a more important person. Not that he like
wasn't.
Not that he's not, and maybe he is like in the second and third book.
Sure, yeah.
But at least in this point in the first book and where the series is at, this TV show is at, it's pretty
big difference.
Yeah, pretty big difference.
I mean, it depends. That's why I asked like how fans of the books feel, because I feel like sometimes deviations like that can be shitty, and you're like, why the fuck are you doing this? Like, you don't need to or whatever. And then other times I feel like it works for the medium that it's in, right? Like sometimes movies and TVs benefit from taking those liberties and being like, no, you know what, we're gonna do this a little different. So,
I think it's okay. Like now that I'm reading the book, I think I would have liked to have gone the book route because the actor that plays Lucas in the series is a really good actor.
Oh, so you just want to see like more of him?
Yeah, and it's not like that I dislike Common. Like I'm a Common fan. Like I like his music and I like stuff that he's done as an actor, but he's not like the greatest, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
I feel like he's like a jack of all trades kind of guy.
Yeah.
Which means he doesn't necessarily like excel and produce like masterworks. At least on stuff that's not his specialty.
Yeah, like he's a good actor in some parts, but I think what the role is calling for, or at least like what they're doing in the show, I don't necessarily think he's like the right person to do it. But I like fuck with him still.
Yeah,
like he's
cool. Serviceable.
Yeah, he's serviceable.
He's not doing anything bad.
Yeah, but there's like some points where I'm like, like
Lucas would be better.
Yeah, or just like a different person in that
the role. Yeah,
that's maybe a more like just seasoned actor. You know?
Yeah, I mean, we've had that conversation with people with castings from time to time, I think, which is like sometimes I think casting directors have a tendency to just choose people who are familiar, which, you know, might be necessary for the timeline of the project. You don't always have like months and months or years and years to like
look for someone.
Yeah, and like, you know, weed through all of the actors at your disposal, but I get it. I don't like when that happens either, when they just cast big names, because it's like it'll draw attention. It's like go for the unknowns or like the slightly lesser knowns or whatever if they're better for the role.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably the best sort of like big name actor that's not like necessarily an actor that they could cast like in that role.
Yeah.
Like like I'm trying to think of like another person. Like Ice Cube is like another one of those people that's like
he's fine.
You know?
He's
like
not terrible.
Yeah.
But he's not like amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fine. He's serviceable.
Yeah.
No, yeah, for sure. It's the fame.
Yeah.
The fame is what gets him those roles, I think, for sure.
Yeah, it's a great book. I definitely think you guys should read the book and watch the show. The show's a great show too.
Cool.
What's her name? She plays Isla in freaking
Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah, she's in the show.
Yeah, I saw her face on
she's great. And also I feel like her character is like pretty different like from the show to like the book. Or at least that's what I've gotten. Like I feel like in the show she's more like she's a lot more sad and just a lot more serious because of like shit that's happened to her. And not that in the book shit hasn't happened to her, but I feel like she's not like as pissed off and shit like that. Like I feel like in the show they make her seem a little bit more pissed off than she actually is like in the book.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I'm down with. I mean,
but it was cool. Like I said,
it helps with the drama.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
When I was watching the show, I was like, damn, this shit's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
But you know, as I think as most book to movie or show adaptations, like the book is definitely like better.
Better,
sure.
yeah. I mean, most of the time it is. Yeah.
You get to go into more detail and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. That's the thing I was thinking about, right? Like a book, like an audiobook, right, will take you like this. Takes me. It's like an 11-hour.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is that? Why is it okay to be like, okay, I'll sit down and I will take 11 hours out of my life to either read this book or listen to it. But if it's like, nah, I don't want 11 hours of like a show to go like crazy into detail like that, you know?
Oh, like why is there a contrast?
Yeah. Like, why is it more acceptable to be like, okay, I'm going to go more into detail in the book because it's a book, but not more into detail in the show because it's a show?
I think it's just dependent on the mediums. The main thing that is a difference between shows and books, in my mind, is that in books you do quite often get directly into the minds of your characters because you can hear what they're thinking. You can't do that with actors unless you're going to be cheesy and be like, I wonder what he did with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like that shit would be fucking annoying depending on how they did it. But that's the main thing that I think is the difference, right? Is it's like you could stretch like a 6-hour series out and double that length, probably mostly because of like the characters' thoughts and reactions, like being read out like in a book, right? Versus the actor just has to then portray that in their face and their demeanor and their behavior. So it's just different mediums, I think.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I was just like sitting there like, damn, this is like
why does it happen?
Yeah, like this is an 11-hour book, and I'm down to sit down and listen. Like, I'm not going to sit down like my whole day and like 11 hours just like binge through the whole book.
Yeah.
But
you know what else I think too is it's like one thing that's always been a thought in my mind when it comes to audiobooks is I assume, whether it's true or not, I think it probably is true because like I'm just a human being who's prone to distractions, but like I feel like 11 hours is a much more condensed thing as opposed to like how long I think it would take me to read it. Like, granted, I'm sure I will listen to that audiobook over like a week or two, and I could probably read the book over the course of like a week or two, but yeah, I don't know. Something about having like a decisive framework of like, this is when the book will start and finish, I feel like is easier to digest than like, let me sit down and read this 400-page book.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like a different frame, like a different mindset.
yeah, that's true.
Coming at it.
Yeah, it's just weird when you like, because I don't know, like I've never, like at least growing up, I never broke down books into like time.
Yeah,
like,
no.
oh yeah, this is gonna take me like 6 hours to
You
fucking
just start reading.
But then when you just start seeing it as like an audiobook, like, oh, this is like 11 hours and 54 minutes.
Yeah.
You're just like, huh, wow, that is like,
that's a lot of time.
yeah. When like, and then when you start comparing it, like it was crazy that I was comparing it to the show because it's like, the show is like each episode's like 40 to like 50 minutes. You know, you get 10 episodes. That's basically like, you know,
10 hours.
almost the whole book.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I was like,
How did they
people
do
always complain about, oh, this shit's too long, or like, you know,
well, you know.
and it's like,
I think you and I are both just of the camp that like we enjoy longer things.
yeah, straight up,
Yeah.
straight up.
Yeah, but I think that's really what it is. It's like longer shows, longer movies, longer games, whatever. I don't know. I prefer things to be
Yeah.
a little more.
I think we also like to be immersed into the world that is created, like whatever with whatever medium that we're
build
absorbing.
the lore, build the world. Let me know like what a dishwasher does. Like,
I'm a sucker for lore, bro.
Yeah.
I'm a big sucker for
like
lore.
that's why like I think like open world RPG games, like, you know, a lot of the ones we've talked about beforehand, like end up being my favorite because you just always have the little data pads and little lore books and shit that you pick up to just like tell you cool stuff about like what it's like to live in that that world that they built.
Yeah. Well, just one more thing about Silo before we move on to the
main course.
The main course is just like little details that I like from like that I think are like really good writing is like in the show, right? They don't know how they got into the silo. They don't know how long society has been there. They don't know how long they're going to be there. They don't know when it's going to be safe to go outside. There was a rebellion like 100 and I think they said like 40 years before like the show actually starts.
Okay.
And they don't have any records of what happened prior to that rebellion. Okay. So nothing is known prior to those 140 years.
Just lost history.
Yeah, so they don't know what goes on outside. They just know the silo. And so there's like shit, like there's like a main focal point in the show is like this Pez dispenser. and they find it and they're like, what is that?
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know what this does. Like, this was like a tool for the outside. Like, I don't know what they use this for. And I'm just like, fuck,
it's fucking candy.
Yeah. And I'm like, fuck, that shit's so funny. Cause like, and that's just like a good, at least to me, like good writing, like little things like when it pops up here and there and different characters are just like, hey, what is that? And they're like, I don't know. Like, we're just still trying to figure it out.
I feel like that's funny. A good way to bring like real world elements into like a fictional story. Because it's like, these are things that we know from our world, but they don't as characters. Yeah. Is good. That's gold.
And I just thought it was so funny because they're like,
oh, what is this tool?
Yeah. And it's just like, you know, it's a Pez dispenser and it has like a duck like on top. And everyone's just like, what is this? They're like, I don't know, but it means something. Yeah. But like a big part of the silo too is like, you're not supposed to have like stuff from the time before. They call them like relics and stuff like that. So you're not supposed to have that shit.
Yeah. Trying to kill the past. Yeah. So on some Kylo Ren shit. Yeah.
On some government trying to control your mind shit.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
But yeah, let's shall we get into
Barbenheimer,
the biggest blockbuster weekend I think we've had in a long time. Like a cool, like I don't remember the last time 2 movies were coming out
this big
that were this hyped up, that lived up to the hype.
Yeah,
you know,
probably the one
that everyone was down to see it. Like the consensus all across the internet that I got from when these were announced and everyone saw that they were going to be released on the same day was everyone was like, "Fuck, we're going to see these the same." If not the same day, the same weekend for sure.
For sure. Yeah, no, definitely. I'm glad in retrospect that I didn't do the double feature. I would probably be down to try it, but I think after having seen them both now, either path, going from one to the other or vice versa, would kind of, I think, hurt the mindset that particular movie is asking you to be in. So that's what I'm okay that I didn't do the back to back. I haven't seen it the other way, so I can't speak to that. I know Diggs has, but
he saw what, Barbie then Oppenheimer.
I don't know what order he did it in. I think he said Oppenheimer then Barbie.
Okay,
but like I said, either at first I was thinking like I just don't want to see Oppenheimer and then Barbie because I don't want to like wash away the heaviness of the first movie. Now I'm of the thinking like I don't want to cross-contaminate either of those things. I think it's cool the event that has happened this weekend and everything, and I've enjoyed watching them both on opening weekend.
But once you see both, you're like, damn, it would have been crazy to have the weight of both of these movies. Because like Barbie like is still pretty like heavy. There is like a lot going on.
Oh yeah, it's got a big message.
But there's a lot to think about coming out of that movie.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought that movie was so great because I was like, damn, I didn't expect this from this movie.
From Barbie.
I thought that I was going to have a good time from watching the trailers and everything like that. The cast looked amazing, you know. So I was like, all right, I'm going to enjoy myself watching this movie. Yeah. And I did. But I also was like, damn, I enjoyed the like everything that was going on, like the whole story in this movie was
really good,
pretty fucking nuts.
No, I was pretty surprised too.
Shall we start there then?
Since we're on Barbie.
Guys, the movie that we've all been fucking waiting for. Barbie, with the star-studded cast of Margot Robbie,
fucking Ryan Gosling. You got America Ferrera.
You got Simu Liu.
Will Ferrell's in the movie.
Ferrell. You got is it Emma Mackey or Emma McKay?
Emma Mackey.
Yeah.
You know who else? You know who's Emma? I'm sorry. You know who America Ferrera's daughter is? It's the girl from 65.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, I was like, oh that shit. It took me a second because when I saw her, you know, it was so funny because like when we were watching 65, I saw her and I went, is that Daphne Keane? The girl who plays.
You see this shit?
Oh, that's nice. Gives you some sparkles and turns it pink on Google. But yeah, when we watched 65 and I saw that actor, I was like, is that Daphne Keane, the girl who plays X-23 from Logan? And I was like, no, that's not her. And then when I was watching this movie, I was like, oh, is that Daphne Keane? And then I looked and I was like, no, that's not her. Oh shit! I was like, I know who that is. Yeah.
Hell yeah. But yeah, Barbie and Ken are having the time of their lives in the
perfect
colorful
day
and seemingly perfect world of Barbie Land. However, when they get a chance to go to the real world, they soon discover the joys and perils of living among humans.
Yeah.
Which is pretty nuts. Like you wouldn't think that that's what the basis of the movie would be about, but
yeah,
I think once they finally got into it, it was pretty nuts. So I mean. So what were your thoughts first on the movie? I'll let you go first.
I enjoyed the movie overall. I thought it was really good. I think it has a really strong and empowering message that is not directed at me, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless. I think for sure this is a movie that is made to empower women and little girls. But I don't think that means that it's not enjoyable for people of whatever background you choose to identify with. I think it's super fucking funny. Comedy drama I'm seeing right there on the genre I think is perfect.
Yep.
I think it is 100% a comedy drama. I think all of the casting is pretty darn good. I can't really... There's one thing that I'll get to in a second, but I'm going to stick with the positives for now. The storyline of it's really good. The world is really fun. I think I wasn't expecting to see, like... I thought they were going to try to do, like, a weird version of like Barbie realism where like in Barbie land they were just it was perfect. I expected it to be perfect, right? But I didn't expect it to literally just be like they were dolls like floating off the fucking roof and like getting, and like all of the showers don't actually do water and they're still like all that, right? That I didn't expect. So I thought that was a cool world building thing for Barbie land. It builds like a really nice contrast to like when she does have to actually jump into the real world, it's not just like, oh, she's dealing with mean people now. It's like, no, her world is completely different from what the real world is like or whatever. So that was good. There was a couple of moments there was one in particular that actually got me to shed a little bit of a tear. That was really good. Like towards the ending with Ruth, one of the lines that she has, the creator of Barbie, when they're in like the weird, like
Harry Potter space.
Yeah, I don't know. That part was a little trippy to me because she's like referring to her as like the creator and stuff. I'm like, well, are you doing like a thing about God right now? I was like, what's going on, man? But that one of those moments made me tear up a little bit. I thought the intro was hilarious with the 2001 Space Odyssey joke. Yeah. That shit was super funny. It was in the trailers, but like to see it in the movie still was good, that it wasn't just a part of like the advertising, And yeah, like overall, I really, really like the movie. I think it's got a lot of great comedy in it. It's got a lot of good emotion in it. Again, it has like a very powerful and important message, I think. And overall, I really liked it. I did have a couple of qualms that are all centered around the same thing, which is at times I think the movie can be a little bit too self-aware. There were moments where that pulled me out of like the emotion that I was like giving myself over to, and then Helen Mirren starts narrating for like a funny joke in the middle of it, and I was like, oh fuck, I was feeling something, man, like go away, get out of here. There's a couple times where it pulled me out for sure. Also just like some really weird like advertising that I noticed. Maybe I was thinking about it too hard, but there was like two in particular that really was, I would like have like a knee-jerk reaction to, because early on in the movie, when you see Will Ferrell and all of his executive partners, in the background, I think there's like one other icon on a building that you can see, but the main one that's not in focus, but in pretty much full view is Warner Brothers Discovery, just like plastered on a building in the background. And they don't make a joke about it. There's no mention of it or nothing. So it is 1,000% advertisement for that program. Yeah. So that one I was like, ugh. And then later they make a Zack Snyder Justice League joke. Yeah. And I was like, ugh, I don't... That's what I mean, right? There were certain times where like the self-awareness was a little too cringe for me. And so I didn't love it. I enjoyed it in the beginning. I thought that the intro narration was super funny, and the song both times when Barbie is like, when it's like the thinking about death Barbie and like the first one are fucking hilarious. I love all of that. I would have been okay if it stopped after the intro though. Yeah,
I feel you.
Yeah, but that's my only like criticism with the movie. Otherwise, I enjoy the fuck out of every other part of it. It's great.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Hell yeah, man. I like I said before, I didn't know I was gonna enjoy this movie as much as I did. Like I knew I was gonna have a good time with it. Like I said, the cast was great. Kate McKinnon was fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, Weird Barbie.
Weird Barbie. I was definitely one of the people when you first saw the advertisements for Barbie, you're like, damn, we're really getting a fucking, like, Barbie they're really movie. Trying to milk every single little thing for a movie, right? But then you see the trailers and you're like, damn, this looks pretty funny. Yeah. And it's exactly what this was. It was just, I had such a good time watching this. Margot Robbie was fucking amazing as Barbie. Ryan Gosling was amazing as Ken. I don't see anyone else even coming close to playing Ken. Like, I was trying to think about who else could play Ken. Yeah. And like the only other person that I could see really diving in and being completely in that role like he was is probably Heath Ledger. Like, I think that's the only other person that I could see really giving themselves over to the role like Ryan Gosling did.
Yeah, for
Not that other people couldn't do that, right? You have other Kens in this movie, but I think the way he plays the role was just fucking perfect. And same thing with like Margot Robbie. Like, I don't see anyone else playing the Barbie role, like the just stereotypical Barbie as she's playing. Right? Like,
100%.
not only does she have the look, but I think she is just obviously she has emerged herself as one of the great actors of our generation. Right?
Yeah, she's pretty darn good.
But it's like, how do you like, you can't copy that as much as you want to try, right? So those two as like the leads in the movie was fucking awesome. Like you said, the emotional parts in this movie were really, really good, and I didn't think I was gonna get something like that in this movie. Like, I didn't think I was gonna tear up in a Barbie movie, but I definitely did, like, a few times, and like, it was really, really good. Like, the emotional beats that they hit with like the mother and the daughter were super good, and I think they were utilized very well. Like, they didn't throw them in too early in the movie. They did come in a little later, but I think when they came in, they really served their purpose. And like, it was super awesome. Like, it was just a fucking great movie. Like, it was really fun to just be immersed in this world. Like, I didn't grow up fucking playing with Barbies. You know, so I wasn't like, I didn't notice every single little Easter egg or anything like that, but it was like, okay, like, it's cool seeing them really bring to life this just really unique world that is Barbie, right? Barbie is very unique in the style that it is, like the colors, everything like that, and they really just brought like Barbie's house to life. Like you said, like, it wasn't just like a real modern like actual house that they were in that they just made pink. They were just
Barbie's
like
fucking
it was just Barbie's house. Like, they had a fucking slide going from the top into the fucking pool, and like,
it's good shit.
It was fun. It was just great, man. Like, from beginning to end, it was awesome. Like, I would agree that there were some parts like the Zack Snyder joke where I was like, okay, I personally could have done without that, but again, I didn't write the movie. I wasn't the audience.
No,
that
the
they were
audience.
the intended audience that they were trying to cater to. So it's like, I could look past it and be like, okay, like, I was watching it with a shit ton of girls, so it was like, when that shit came on, they were fucking all laughing, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like, you know, if you're a chick on fucking Twitter, you're probably tired of like seeing
the Zack Snyder Boys.
Seeing the Zack Snyder Boys, bro. And
hashtag
like,
save the Snyderverse.
Exactly, you're tired of seeing that shit. It was just, it was a great experience, man. It was fun. Fuck, dude. Like, we have really been treated to some great cinema, like in movies and in shows, like this year and then like last year too. Last year was definitely like the start of like just a lot of like really good hard hitting stuff like being released, and it just not being like the box office just not being like run by superhero movies and stuff like that, right? Like, I can't remember the last time a weekend this big in a movie was driven by non-superhero movies.
Yeah. You know what's crazy though? I do hear what you're saying there, but what's wild is that as big of an event as this was, and as like heavily hyped as it was, from the weekend's not over. You have to wait until today is done. But I'm pretty sure both of the movies opening weekend combined still doesn't even touch like what a Marvel movie does. I'm like, it's opening day, and I'm like, fucking fuck, bro, holy shit! Like,
but I think it's like, I think those movies, like, it's hard to reach those numbers. Like, it's hard to just touch those Marvel movie
and you know,
numbers.
The other thing too, I think, is that like on the more like, you know, real life narrative side of things, is I think that there is a large amount of hype and like internet just memery and fuckery surrounding the movie, where I think like a lot of the support that the movie's getting, I don't think is like not like real or anything like that. But I don't think every person who's like posting like is like the type of person that rushes to the theater opening weekend. Like, superhero movies in general have built a cult around that of like go on day one or whatever. I think both of these movies, as exciting as The Weeknd was, they weren't like, you need to be there opening weekend, or like, you know what I mean, type of thing. Or maybe, sorry, that's not the point I was trying to make. More so that like, not everybody who was posting the stuff of like Barbenheimer's happening this week is necessarily the type of person to be like, I gotta be there opening weekend though. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of folks who are like hyped about Barbenheimer, like, I'll go next weekend. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fine. It's not a big deal or whatever.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it was just awesome, man. It was just such a fun movie.
Yeah, it really was.
And yeah, it's so nuts because like now like I've started to see like on the internet like people think this movie's too woke and it's hating on men and shit like that, and it's just like if you take that away from the movie, you have to look at yourself, and there's a lot you have to think about 100%, when you go home about yourself and
but you know what else
your securities as like if you're a man, like as your securities as a fucking man.
100%. But the other thing too is it's like on the flip side of that, don't go out there and fucking attack people, especially not women, because of how like whatever your reaction might have been to this movie. But take a second to think. The movie is strong enough to invoke that visceral reaction from certain men, I'm assuming, are the people who are like
patriarchy, bro.
Yeah, from the patriarchy. So like that means it's powerful. That means it's got like a strong, like that's a strong piece of art. If it's can again.
Ben Shapiro went out and watched this fucking movie, dude.
Wow, crazy. Yeah. That guy's a fucker. I don't like him.
But he was the one that was just like, this is just, I'm Ben Shapiro, and you know, I you know, my team forced me to come to this movie, and you know, I sat down and like, you know, I stood in line for the popcorn, and the popcorn was really overpriced. Like, this is pretty crazy. Like,
who cares?
Popcorn,
yeah, that's the theater.
But you know, that's beside the point. You know, when I went and sat down in the theater, like, you know, it was a cool movie. You know, the pink, a little bit not my color, you know, but it's Barbie. You know, I can deal with that, you know, but the story, you know, hating on Ken, like Ken not being his own person, like what are you talking about? Like I can't, you know.
He didn't watch the same movie as everybody. See, that's the thing is it's like I think if you are like a man who has insecurity issues, not that everybody's aware of them, obviously, it might be a hidden thing or whatever. Don't fucking watch anything leading up to the movie based off of reviews like that. Because honestly, if you just go in there open-hearted and just like ready to see what the movie is. That's why I said I don't think you watched the same movie because like Ken has a good story.
Yeah, that's what in the movie. Say. Like Ken has a very, very good story.
He's got a character arc,
and at the end of the day, it comes down to like Barbie says, like it's Barbie and it's Ken and it's Ken.
If anything, that's Barbie telling him like, no, be your own man, like be your own person, like be your don't attach to it because I think. I have experienced this, unfortunately, as a small little baby boy and even into adulthood, right? It's like at times as a boy, you can be like, oh, I just have such a fat crush or I'm so in love with this person. Yes. What would I be without this person?
Exactly.
So that's a good message, I think, to send to little boys who might be going with their sisters or mothers or whatever, whoever, even if their dad fucking takes them, I don't know. That's a good message to send. And I think, again, also, too, for grown-up men too who like might have these insecurities, if you can be open to seeing what that is, it's not bad. I don't think the movie is, I mean, it is, right? It is. There are moments where it's being smart about commenting on what actually happens in real life, but I wouldn't say it's like attacking men or anything like that. It's just pointing out the fucking facts, bro. That's all
exactly.
It is.
Like, dude, there's so many times there's been like the conversation of like, what are you talking about? Women have had hard out here. Like, I see women in this position and that position. It's like, okay, like, I understand that. Like, yes, there's these women in these very big and powerful positions that, like, you're using as this example. Like, oh, no, I see me here. But you don't know, like, how hard it was for them to even get that position because of, like, already,
the
like,
road that's
the
hard,
road that they're already facing and, like,
yeah.
Shit's already against them because they're not a dude. You know?
That also just brings to mind like the Will Ferrell joke that they have where he's like, I will not stand for this. He's like, I will have you know, we've had 2 women CEOs in the entire history of this company. He's like, I'm the son of a mother. I'm the nephew of a woman aunt. It's like these like silly, stupid, like attempts at a get out of jail free card to be like, no, we're down for women, and it's just like so surface level.
Yeah, but even things like I'm gonna play the guitar at you, and not for you, and shit like
I'm gonna stare into your eyes uncomfortably for the next 4 minutes. And play the guitar
exactly.
At you.
It's like I found that shit funny because it's like
it's true.
It's very true. It's like a lot of the times, like you see commentary like on the internet, like dudes is like, oh, if you're doing this and your woman is giving you that, like it's like a very much like quid pro quo, like this for that type shit, you know? When it's like, no, that's not how shit is. It's you should, like, if you play the guitar, right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't play the guitar at your girl in hopes that, like, oh, I'm going to woo her, like, play the guitar. Yeah. Maybe that's how it starts, right? Like, oh, I'm going to play the guitar and we're going to get interested in, like,
but you do that because you love that person.
Yeah, because you want to. Like, you love playing the guitar and it's like, hey, I enjoy you. I want to share part of myself exactly. It's not like, I'm going to play this at you because, like, hey, I played the guitar really good, man. That scene was hella funny, though.
It is
when
funny.
They're all getting down.
4 hours later.
They're
still playing at the beach.
Just at the beach. What song were they singing? I forgot.
I don't even know. It's like some cheesy 90s acoustic song.
Yeah, but it was fucking great, dude. I love that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, two scenes in particular that stuck with me. I just saw earlier today. Was one is early in the movie, I think, when they first get to the real world. And Barbie's sitting on the bench. It reminded me of this one after we got out of the movies. Barbie's sitting on the bench there. And it's her just looking at, like, what life is like. Like, she's, like, staring and peering through the trees and the bushes and sees all these different flashes of life, like, of men and women, right? Going through happy times. You have couples that are fighting. You have couples that are happy. You have, like, old couples with their kids. You have a dude sitting alone and he's, like, looks depressed or something like that. You know, like, it's just, like, a glimpse of life for her. And she, like, I think sheds a tear for the first time. And then she turns and she sees an old woman on the bench next to her. And she just has, like, this crazy look of realization. She's like, you're beautiful. And she's like, yeah, I fucking know, bitch. Yeah. Like, yeah, of course I'm beautiful. Get out of here. Yeah. It was so good. Like, that was such a good moment. I loved it because it was, like, such a neat look at life. Like, through, like, it almost felt like looking at life through, like, a fresh pair of eyes. Like, she's seeing something that I think people in the real world, like, know so well on, like, different personal levels, right? Everybody goes through their own shit, obviously. So for her to just be ripped from that perfect world and, like, see all these snapshots of, like, people just going through life is so good. And then just, like, the cherry on top of that moment, because, like, the whole thing before she leaves is basically she starts her journey because she doesn't want to, like, get old. All of the things that, like, are happening. I mean, they phrase it as, like, you're gonna get cellulite and, like, you're gonna start, like, blah blah blah, this and that, and or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think the whole thing is she's gonna stop being perfect, right? She stops having her like feet aren't perfect. She has, like, flat feet, and it's like all these things are gonna, like,
real life
things are gonna happen to you, right?
The passage
and you're not gonna be this perfect Barbie that you've always been.
Yeah. So that's what starts her on her journey. So to see her look at, like, the quote unquote end product of all these things she's running away from, and to realize, like, oh my God, you're beautiful, is, like, so good. It's so good. I love it.
I love that part too, because I really took it as, like you said, like, she's realizing all these things about life, and that was her first, like, thought of, like, nothing else matter. Like, obviously shit matters, right? But the thing that matters is you being, like, you loving yourself and being you, right?
Yeah.
And I took that as, like, there's so many times when you talk to old people and you ask them, like, oh, what's, like, advice that you would give to, like, you know, younger people, and it's always like, you know, love yourself, or, like, do things like that. And that felt like very much like a shorter version of a conversation like that. Yeah. Where, like, she first has that realization, like, damn, like, you are a beautiful, like, you're just a beautiful person. And then her being an older woman being like, yeah, I know, like, I've learned to, I'm confident in myself and who I am and stuff like that, so I know, but thank you. So, like, that's why I loved that.
It's good. Such a touching moment.
It was so good.
Yeah, that one was really good. And then the other line that, it was the one that got me teary-eyed in the movie, was Ruth something, I forgot her name, Handler, maybe, Ruth, right? Handler. Yeah, the creator of Barbie has a role in this movie. And at the end, when, again, they're in, like, the weird spacey God part of the movie, there's a line that she has where she says, us mothers stand still so our daughters can see how far they've come. And I was like, oh shit, get the fuck out of here, creator of the Barbie lady, fuck you. I was like, God damn, that was a heavy fucking line. That one made me tear up. That one, I was like, ouch, holy shit, that's some hard hitting shit right there. Because, like, I think obviously that one was for sure more aimed towards a mother-daughter relationship, but I think nonetheless it's something that, like, a child can relate to. Probably not as accurately as, like, what the filmmaker intended, again, in that one, but it still hits. Like, way, to think, like,
there's a lot of these things that just generally hit when you think about them in a general sense. Like, yes, like Greta Gerwig was like making this intended for like the female audience and like, hey, like women stand up and be, you are beautiful, you're powerful. You don't have to be outside of yourself.
You don't have to be perfect Barbie.
To be this amazing person. Like even Barbie, like being stereotypical, like her thing is like, fuck, this Barbie's like a Nobel Prize winner. Like she's an author, she's this, and she's just like,
I'm just stereotypical Barbie.
And they're like, hey man, like that's okay. Like you're you. Like
you're ordinary Barbie.
Exactly. And I think that's why like a lot of these things in like this movie, like even the part with like Ken of like Ken's whole thing is like he's not happy until he's like acknowledged by Barbie. Yeah. And them having that conversation of like, hey man, like you don't need my acknowledgement to be happy with yourself. Like you need to learn how to be you. And I think that's applicable to everybody. Like 100%. To men, women, everybody is like, that is like such a good message to like send. And like that was such a nice like secondary story to like have, and such an interesting like way to go, like because it's very easy to make this movie like, not that it's not women driven, but to just the focus be on like Barbie and everything like that. But to have like not the mirror, but like the other side of like Ken being in a world where like the Kens just like they don't know where the fuck they live and they don't really do anything. They're just there because they're of like there, Barbie, you know what I'm saying, like that. And then to be like, hey, no, like just find stuff that makes you happy and be happy with yourself. Like that was great.
Yeah, toxic masculinity is, I would say, like the villain of the movie through Ken, right? But it's such like a layered villain because he starts as like just this like person who worships Barbie and would do anything just to get her gaze, right? Like I think he says in the movie like, hey, my name's Ken and I only have a good day when Barbie looks at me. Like, or some bullshit like that, right? So like to see him fall into like, wanting to push the patriarchy onto Barbie land, and again, essentially almost become like the villain for a little bit, right? Because like the big problem that they have to solve in the climax of the movie is taking the Kendom out of Barbie land. But to like flip that on its head and like, not flip it on its head necessarily, but I think just follow it through, right? It's like they didn't just do the like, yeah, this is bad because it's bad. It's like, no, they explain to you why it's bad for like the obvious effect that it has on women. But then they also like, again, have Ken be a character of like, now this fucker like is a sad boy who like is like putting up walls and shit because he's a dumb guy who like fucking turns into an asshole when he starts to feel things or whatever it is, And then to have Barbie go through everything she goes through and have such like an important journey of self-discovery on her own, and still be big enough to look at Ken at the end of the movie and be like, hey, I owe you an apology. Like I did take you for granted. Like, I'm sorry. I don't want to kiss you now, which is like, the gag that happens afterwards. Like, I'm not saying this because I'm in love with you all of a sudden. Yeah. But like, I'm sorry that I took you for granted as my friend. Like, like it's such a big thing for Barbie as a character. And it's just like such a good relief for Ken as like a side character. It's just, it's so weird because like for a movie that is based off of toys, the characters feel so real. Oh, yeah. Like, again, at times the self-awareness I think can take me out of it, but it doesn't impact the overall feeling of that like these toys have very real feelings and like emotions and journeys and stuff like that. It's really good. It's good shit, man. Yeah, just such a fucking great movie, and like definitely take the time out to go watch this. I think these movies are very important, like this and the next movie that we'll get into, in terms of like just making the movies feel like the movies again. And like going to go see whatever, and anything can be like such a great movie. It doesn't it doesn't have to be, the box office doesn't have to be driven by superhero movies. Yeah, I think it will be for a long fucking time, just because of like what Marvel has done and everything like that, and like everyone fucking loves a superhero, right? Yeah. But it's like, I love that we have these weekends where these two movies are at the forefront. There's no fucking superheroes whatsoever. No, yeah. And they're just like well-crafted stories at the end of the day. Yeah. The focus of these movies is the storytelling, and that's what should always happen. Sure, is like, 100%. The focus needs to be telling a good story, and not just like these super crazy visuals and like super crazy action and like, we need some good shit. But yeah, Barbie, go and check that shit out in a theater near you. Go with some buddies. Go with your girlfriend. Go with your boyfriend. Whatever you want to fucking do. Just go have a good time. Just go have a great time. It's a fun time, and it's not even 2 hours long. You can go and catch it on a matinee. Was perfect. Went in there 3, got out of 5. Yeah,
Freaking Evelyn probably loved that shit.
Yeah,
the fact that
100%.
it wasn't 3 hours.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's a big contrast compared to the one from yesterday. Yeah, yeah, but it was good. I would give. I don't even know how to rate it. I would say like a 4 out of 5 or an 8 out of 10. It's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I'll say like an 8.5.
Yeah,
out of 10. Like,
I don't think it's a perfect movie. It ain't no like masterpiece, but it's great. It is really good.
It's fucking yeah. It's really fucking good.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, the next explosive movie to hit the fucking box office.
Introduce it. Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. I loved that.
I did too.
I loved that.
Too, yeah.
Oppie. Because I would fucking, if some dude was named Oppenheimer and I knew him.
You're not going to call him Oppenheimer every time.
Hey, what's up, Oppie?
What's up, Oppie? How you doing, bro? Yeah. All right, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick.
There we go.
The regularly scheduled programming.
But yes, guys, Oppenheimer. Fuck. I think this movie was getting previewed in The Batman when we watched The Batman last year.
Oh, yeah.
For like,
trailers and stuff? Yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
So we've been waiting a long time for this movie. Oppenheimer, the movie about J. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb. If you did not know, I honestly did not know a lot about this man beforehand because, public school systems, they fucking suck. But, it was great to sit down and learn about this man because this is a biopic at the end of the day. This is a story talking about, it's a drama thriller, but it is very much like, in my opinion, it is a biopic because it is a movie about the life of J. Robert Oppenheimer, not his full life, but in terms of when he was going to school, studying to be a quantum physicist and stuff like that. So this was a star-studded movie. Also, you have Cillian Murphy, Florence Pugh, Robert Downey Jr., Emily Blunt, Jack Quaid, Rami Malek, Matt Damon, fucking a shit ton more people. But yes, this was an awesome movie. I think if you are the type of person that doesn't like the movies where there's a lot of men in suits sitting down and giving a lot of talking a lot, like, this probably isn't the movie for you, but I think this is very much an undeniable masterpiece at the end of the day. Like, I think what Christopher Nolan does with this movie is outstanding. I think visually it's very striking.
Yep.
Like, the fact that, they say a lot of this was done without CGI is...
I think they said the whole movie was done without CGI.
The whole movie was done without CGI?
I don't think there was a single lick of CGI in there.
Yeah.
From what they're claiming.
And like, I can see it.
I can too.
I can very much see how the moments where you see all like the electrons and the neutrons like smashing together and like these whole explosions. Like, I can see that not being CGI.
They can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, they can very much do it. But yeah, I thought this was a great movie. This is like a biopic, kind of like, right? Am I wrong in saying that? I would say it's not like through and through a biopic. Yeah, but
it's not a traditional biopic.
Yeah,
I think it's an evolution of one. Mm-hmm. In the same way that like after years and years of being experienced, what's the word I'm looking for? Exposed to a particular trope in a genre. I'm thinking superhero movies and origin stories. Mm-hmm. Eventually we learned like, okay, you know what? We can skip the origin story part. We can get right to the meat and potatoes. I think this is very much the same evolution in biopics, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's like, usually a biopic is like, here's where they were when they were a teenager. And then they grew into this person eventually.
This dude got punched in the face in this alley one time by this bully that we never see again.
Yeah, exactly, right? And then they became fucking Freddie Mercury or whatever, or Elton John or whatever biopic, we're talking about. This one is very much like, no, this is not about the history of his life. This is about this particular moment in time when the bomb was being made. So yeah, it is a biopic, not a traditional one though. I would say. Yeah.
Let me read this description. Yeah. So during World War II, Lieutenant General Leslie Groves Jr. That's a fucking great name. Imagine having that whole title, Lieutenant General Leslie Groves Jr. You
can say that with some pride.
Yeah, tell me that all the time.
Yeah.
Groves Jr. appoints physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer to work on the top secret Manhattan Project. Oppenheimer and a team of scientists spend years developing and designing the atomic bomb. Their work comes to fruition on July 16th, 1945, as they witness the world's first nuclear explosion, forever changing the course of history.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yes, you do get this story of the atomic bomb being made, and juxtaposed to that, you also get the story of what's his name, Louis Strauss.
Yeah,
basically
it's pronounced Strauss.
Yeah. Being a piece of shit and having this vendetta against Oppenheimer and him going to this hearing with the I don't know, like the Supreme Court or whatever. I don't know how that shit works, but
well, I think it's like two separate ones. There's the hearing where he's trying to get Oppenheimer's security clearance revoked.
Yes.
And then the other one is actually not even a hearing. It's him. It's his last appointment interview spectacle thing before he gets put into a high position of power in the United States government. Mm-hmm. And so all of that shit's just coming out because they have to, like, I guess, vet him before it happens.
Yeah.
Like,
Because, I mean, a lot of people didn't trust him, first of all.
No, yeah, because he's a shady motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't he wasn't part of the Communist Party, but he partook in, you know, left thinking and stuff like that. Which,
Oppenheimer?
Yeah, which, you know, the U.S. government wasn't all about.
Super down with, yeah.
Yeah, they were like, left-wingers, we don't like them.
Yeah.
We don't like them. They're crybabies.
They're crybabies, yeah. Jeez, I know. Get that crybaby out of my office. That was, okay, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty fucking sure that was Gary Oldman, bro. Playing, what's his name?
Posiblemente.
Was it Truman or?
Yeah, Harry S. Truman.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
And the motherfucking Sirius Black, bro. In full-on makeup and shit.
Yeah, that actually happened. He actually called him a crybaby.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, that
Crazy
I watched a video about 10 things that actually that they did get right, and that was a thing that they
That's
for sure got
up
right.
Shit, dude.
Let's see.
Fucked up.
They should have him on here.
I would assume. Maybe in the full cast, they usually have a little.
Where's the?
Right there, all cast and crew.
Oh no, I didn't.
Gotta find them all.
Cast and crew.
Alden Ehrenreich was a good sleeper hit for me.
Yeah, that was awesome. I didn't know he was going to be in the movie.
Me neither.
I didn't see him in the.
I didn't even know until a couple weeks ago that fucking Robert Downey Jr. was in the movie.
What?
No,
Really?
I had no idea. Florence Pugh was great too. I saw her name pop up again right there.
Fuck, where is this dude?
I know.
Did I pass him already?
Oh yeah, Casey Affleck too. Another sleeper.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. I was like, fuck.
Gary Oldman. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of just sleeper ones where like a character of substantial importance to the circumstances, not necessarily like the story, but the circumstances surrounding the history, just like comes in like an hour and 45 minutes into the movie, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, Casey Affleck's in this movie.
A lot of, I think there was a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just to get into what we think about the movie, right? I really enjoyed this movie. Again, this was another movie that I assumed I was going to enjoy because I do like Christopher Nolan. I think he is a really great director. I like what he's doing, you know, being not tied to Warner Brothers anymore and doing a movie like this, like on his own and stuff like that. Like, it's fucking awesome showing that, you know, as a director or a writer or anything, like, you don't have to be tied to these super big, you know, fucking studios, especially right now with them being pieces of shit to the actors and everything.
Yeah.
And shout out to all the actors and everyone on SAG-AFTRA on strike because y'all are fucking awesome. We support you. Shout out to A24 being the only non-strike company because they are the only company that actually pays their actors, writers, and everyone properly. But yeah, it's nice getting a movie on this big of a scale from a director like Christopher Nolan being sort of on his own and doing shit like that, right? Getting actors like Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr. Like, has he been in a lot of stuff post like Avengers or anything like that?
The only two movies that I have seen is he was in a movie called The Judge, which is really good, and he was in Dr. Dolittle, which from what I heard was really bad. And then he made a documentary movie about his dad. Okay. That's the only projects that I have heard of. I don't know if he's been in stuff outside of that.
Yeah, but I like getting to see an actor like Robert Downey Jr. step outside, not necessarily step outside of himself, but step outside of the public perception of like him being Iron Man, right?
Yeah, he's Tony Stark.
He's always going to be Iron Man, but he is a world-class actor at the end of the day. And getting to see him flex those muscles like that was fucking awesome because he was amazing in this movie.
As soon as I heard him speak, I was flabbergasted because I was like, oh, fuck. I'm not hearing Tony Stark. This is great. Like, holy shit. He doesn't sound like Iron Man. Like, just that alone already, like that he has the ability to change his, like, I think everybody kind of has that old 1940s talk in the movie with a couple of exceptions. But right off the bat, I was like, oh, okay, he's acting. Yeah. He ain't just being Robert Downey Jr. He's not just being Tony Stark. Like he's doing some work here.
Yeah, Emily Blunt really shines in this movie.
Yeah,
like
great.
we're saying, Florence Pugh was awesome in this movie. everyone was just so good, and this movie was just really, really awesome. It was a 3-hour movie. I did feel like it was a little long, but I really enjoyed myself. Like, I felt it was a little long because there's not many movies where I'm like, oh, this is 3 hours. Yeah, I want to sit down and watch. It's like, there's only like the only 3-hour movies I can really think about. Like, yeah, I want to sit down and watch is, aside from like extended cuts of like Lord of the Rings movies, and stuff like that, but just regular movies where the regular cut is 3 hours, just like this and Babylon are like the only movies that come to mind. Where like, as a 3-hour movie, like these are the movies that I'll sit down and watch because these are the most.
You're not gonna watch Endgame, bro?
Is that 3 hours?
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, I guess I'll throw that. I'll throw that one in.
I was like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you though. Yeah, it is hard to find. Oh, you know the other one I would throw at you too? I don't know if you've seen it, King Kong. Peter Jackson's King Kong. Have you watched that movie?
I think I watched it a while ago.
Movie. I haven't seen it in a long time.
All the big bugs and everything, right?
When
the people
dinosaurs,
fall,
T-Rexes and shit, and giant spiders. Yeah, yeah.
That one is another good one.
But no, I agree with you. There's not very many. It's not very many.
And I would say up until the first, until the hour 45, almost 2 hour mark, it didn't feel like it was going to be a 3-hour movie because everything was moving pretty fucking quick. Like, it was like, all right, we're here. Yeah. Now we're here. Now we're here. Now we're here. Now we're here. We met this person. Now this person.
Jumping through many different points in time.
Exactly. But it felt good once you got into it. At first, it is a little jarring because you're like, whoa, we're moving pretty fucking quick.
I think the pacing asks a lot of you because it does not lead you slowly into how quickly paced the movie is. It just starts right off the bat and expects you to jump in feet first. It's weird because I agree with you that I think the movie is a little too long, but the only conundrum that I have is that I don't know what I would take out of the movie.
That's what I was going to say.
Like, what the fuck?
Like, as I was sitting there, like, thinking about it on the way home yesterday and today, I was like, fuck, like, I really don't know what I would take out because I think what they've put in is very crucial to the story that they're trying to tell.
Yeah, I don't think you can sacrifice anything.
As much as you may not like people sitting down and talking just talking at each other for however long, like, a lot of the dialogue was super compelling and I thought it was really, really good.
I was going to say, it's like you don't you don't have. I mean, I complained last weekend, right, about Mission Impossible having too many scenes where people sit down and talk, but that's because all of the dialogue that they had was cheesy. In this movie, there's a lot of like verbal sparring, so you do almost have fight scenes just of a different level. It's like intellectual fight scenes where they're like battling each other with their words, and they're genius people. Practically everybody in this movie is like a certified genius. Yep. So they're like talking circles around each other and shit like that. And it feels like a dance at times. Like, it's really good.
I will say that is like the only part of the movie like that I really did not like fully grasp is like all the technical shit that they're fucking talking about. Like in terms of like physics and everything like that. I was like, yeah, dude. Like I was sitting next to these dudes that like there were some points where they are doing that like verbal sparring and it is like getting very educational and very technical, and like they'd be like, like they would laugh like when they would say something, and I was like,
I don't know.
I wish I got that. But hey, more power to you, man. But yeah, this was a great movie from beginning to end. I thought it was very gripping, especially like once you get past the point of like where the bomb goes off and they do the test or whatever in Los Alamos, like. That's when I thought the movie was going to start to end, but then it like picks up again for like the second half, and it's like, oh no, there's a whole second half of this movie that we got to get to. Like that was like, you had to get back into it because I was like, all right, we built up this thing, the bomb blew up, all right, now I think we're going to start to wind down here. Yeah. And so myself, I started to wind down, but then it's like, oh no, we're still going.
We're going,
And I even thought that second part of the movie was very, very good as well. Because that's when you really get into a lot of like,
the after effects,
the really deep, heavy emotions that come with making this big weapon of mass destruction. Yep,
100%.
So yeah, it was great. Again, this is a like 10 out of 10 performance from Cillian Murphy. Like,
he's awesome.
Again, like Margot Robbie and like Ryan Gosling. Like, I don't know any other person that could play this Oppenheimer role after watching Cillian Murphy play this shit.
Yeah. No, he's pretty good. I can't think anybody off the top of my head. I would like to imagine that there are actors out there that could probably do it better just because I want to be hopeful about it. It's like, I like not as a slight to how well all three of the characters we just mentioned are portrayed, but I have to believe that there are talented people out there who could probably even do it a little better. They're just not, out there yet or whatever it might be. But yeah, I have nothing but like basically echoing all of your sentiments. Like I fucking loved it. The sound design was incredible. We were talking about it before we started the movie. I fucking love loud shit. I love loud things. I never listen to any music if it is not cranked, whether it's my car speakers, my headphones, whatever the fuck it might be. I love watching movies in movie theaters for that reason, because it's just loud. You can hear everything. But aside from just like the volume of everything, just like the intensity of the, like, it's very explosive in its design, and not not just in the explosives though, right? Because there's a lot of times where you feel the heavy anxiety that Oppenheimer is going through. Oppenheimer. Instead of Oppie.
Hey, what's up, Opper?
What's up, Opper? How you doing, homie?
Hey, yo, that's my compa Opper over there.
My compa Opper. Actually, that works with Oppie too. Yeah. Hey, Oppie. That's my compa Oppie. Yeah, he built the bomb. But
my primo Oppie over there. Hey, yeah, this fool built a bomb or something, eh?
Yeah, my primo Oppie, he's cool. He built the atomic bomb, but like he feels really bad about it though. So
yeah, sometimes he cries at night. You know, I tell him, hey, pick your head up, fool.
Pick your head up, fool.
It shit's so good, homie.
You changed the world, fool.
Hey, yeah, you changed the world. And
for better or for worse.
For better or for worse, compa, it's all good.
But yeah, explosive sound design. Like, again, the bombs sounded great. Any explosion in the movie sounded fantastic. But even just, again, like, the sound design when he's going through, like, you know, moments of anxiety or heavy tension or whatever it might be, you just hear, like, the roar of, like, people. Like, sometimes people cheering sounds like a bomb, or, like, a door closing sounds like a bomb. Like, there's just so many moments where the sound is, like, again, just explosive. Like, it's a funny pun, but it's true. When they have
the like the moments, like, you get flashes of like the students freaking banging their feet on the bleachers and stuff like that before you get to the full scene.
Yeah, through the whole
end.
movie. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And there's a lot of good setups and payoffs. I think there was a couple that I had wanted to mention in particular. So, at first, you know, it's funny. I actually had this thought literally when I went to the bathroom, because I was like, we're about to start talking about Oppenheimer right now. Like, let me run through all the shit that I had thought about or whatever. And
let me pull up the files on Oppenheimer.
Yeah, exactly. Beep, 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 beep. And I changed my perspective on something that I thought I didn't like, which was that at first I wasn't so sold and sure about the telling the story through multiple different time points out of order. There's a little bit of Quentin Tarantino-ness going on in this movie, where it's not different sets of characters, but it's the same characters at like 3 different points in time that are all being told simultaneously.
And from different perspectives.
Yes,
because the black and white, which I read online, is the perspective of Strauss.
Yeah.
And then the colored is perspective of Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Yeah, which is, I think, pretty clear, because, I mean, I didn't necessarily take it as far as assigning it to characters. That's very smart, but I was under the impression that they were trying to tell us that when you're watching this in black and white, it's because Strauss is a black and white person. He's seeing, no, this is that, and that's because he's perceiving things as simple.
Yeah.
Versus Oppenheimer, who's
objectivity versus subjectivity.
100%. Yeah, exactly. The color is the subjectivity part, I think, right? Versus the black and white is like the objective thing. Which I've been saying, objectivities are fucking losers. So fuck you, Robert Downey Jr. No, I'm just kidding. I love you. You're the best.
Hey man, he deals in absolutes, brother.
Fucking sick. No, yeah, but that's a very broad statement, obviously. But at first I didn't know how I felt about it. I think after the movie, I was thinking to myself, like, damn, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that could have benefited from just going from start to finish. Like, at first I was like, okay, the story's the same if you just tell it from the beginning to the end and you don't do the jumping all over the place. But I think there's a few good reveals that happen when you're watching it that way, because you spend the majority of the time with Oppenheimer and the Manhattan Project team when they're building the bomb. That's the majority of the movie, I would say. And so you start to see his relationships to the people that you're seeing later down the line, many years later, being questioned in terms of like his, strength of loyalty and like, a threat of being like a communist or whatever it might have been. Right. And so you see there, you inch slower and slower and slower towards the prosecutor's like pulling their opinion on Oppenheimer out of these characters while you're watching their relationship develop at the same time. And I think that it provides a couple of cool surprises to me, which is the two that I'm thinking of is Lieutenant Groves, and I can't remember the dude's name, but the guy who puts the shit all over his face and is like sitting outside with the glasses.
He's the fucking...
Is it like Teller or something? I don't know. There's many scientist names in this movie that is difficult to remember them all. But
it is Teller.
It's Teller, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, there's two characters, right? One of them...
Edward Teller.
Yeah.
Played by Benny Safdie.
Yeah. So him, Teller, right? That they start... I took it as like they slowly started to establish like this trust and like friendship that Oppenheimer made points at certain times in the movie where he was literally telling him like, I will make time for you. You are important to me. Like I believe in you and what you're doing.
They come to a very good understanding of each other.
Exactly. And then on the flip side, you have Lieutenant Groves, who I would say they start friendly and then slowly the relationship like not full on deteriorates, but gets more tense, right? Like I think it's like across a little bit, whereas like it might seem a little more tense with Teller in the beginning and then they get like, you know, a little bit more friendly. And then they're in the future when the shit is happening or whatever, the tone that I got from their confessions later gave me like a nice little twist. Whereas like the relationship that was being established in the past made me assume that Groves would be the one to be like, he's loyal, but he's a fucking threat. Or not a threat, but I wouldn't clear him now or whatever, which he does say, right? But he also immediately follows it up.
I wouldn't clear anybody.
No, he's like, we did what we had to fucking do. I still believe in this guy, right? So that to me was the surprise because I was like, oh shit, okay, he's like standing up for his boy right here pretty much, right? Versus the flip was, to me, with the other character, Teller, because not only does he just end it right at, I don't think he is a disloyal U.S. citizen, but I don't think he's fit to lead something or whatever, and he just leaves it there. On top of that, he also fulfills the cyclical nature that Einstein warns him of at the end, which is that he's just going to stand on the shoulders of Oppenheimer to achieve his own success. And so that to me was like again, that kind of just clicked for me in the bathroom, but I thought that was a gripe at first because I was like, you could have just fucking done this chronologically and it would have been fine. But I think the tension of like building the relationships with the characters in the past and then revealing how that ends up in the future was like, ooh, damn, that's good.
I like that, especially now that I'm thinking about it too, especially like when you talk about Groves and you talk about Teller and their relationship, like they both leave off with Oppenheimer after they make the bomb so differently, right?
Yeah.
When Oppenheimer is talking to him, he's like, hey man, yeah, like just like, you know, stay in touch, like let me know. And he's just like, yeah, like very just like
he's
very
like, I'll
cold.
do what I can. Yeah.
And just like very plain, like just like, okay, our job is done and now this is where shit ends, right? And then they go away, which I was like, damn, like in the movie I was like, damn, this dude really just switched up on him like that. Like that's pretty nuts. And you have, like I said, you have this understanding between Teller and Oppenheimer because I think they understand, like they're just very smart, right? And they understand
the consequences of what they're doing, the weight of what they're trying to achieve.
Exactly. And they've had those conversations because, like, you know, Teller does all the math and he was the first one to come up with the math, like, hey, we could, like, yeah, this could work and we could make the biggest bomb ever. Or this could be bad. This could be worse. And we can make the biggest bomb ever in the sense that the chain reaction doesn't stop and we literally ignite the whole atmosphere. And they have this conversation at the end where it feels like they're very much on the same page of like they know what they've built and hey, someone else might build a fucking bigger one. Yeah. So it's like, and then yes, to come to the
present, I guess you could call it, right?
Yeah, like just more of the future. Like I don't know when it is, right? Because Christopher Nolan does these crazy things and like with time, like, and I was just watching like because I've never watched his movie Memento, but I want to watch it because he was talking about, like, quick sidebar, right? He's talking about like the timeline of Memento. He's like, you have to look at it like a hairpin, and he drew like this. He's like, where the curve at the end is like that's the end of the movie, and you have like these different times, like it moves in a certain way, and he's like, and we have scenes that go from here to here to here to here to here, and like the end is like somewhere like right here.
yeah.
And I was like, fuck, that's crazy.
Interesting, yeah.
But like it is very similar in this instance where like that works for, like you're saying, like the tension and not knowing the relationship between these two characters, but then getting the reveal of like girls being like, I wouldn't clear this guy, but I also wouldn't clear anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
That's
he's
my
still,
dude, though.
that's my dude, that's my guy.
Yeah.
And then Teller being like, nah, fuck this guy.
Yeah. He's a fucking idiot. He fucked it. Or not like, I don't know if he goes that far, but he definitely has more cold feelings, I would say, than Groves does, which is good. And then the other point in which I think it like fucking smacks like a motherfucker is at the very, very end of the movie. There's a point like really early in the movie where Robert Strauss, I don't know however you fucking pronounce it.
Louis Strauss, I think that's his name.
Not
Not Robert Strauss.
Yeah, I was gonna say he fucking tells what's his name. He's like, it's pronounced Strauss or whatever, but I think it's trying to get away from like German affiliations or whatever.
Oh, Strauss.
Call it Strauss, yeah. But there's a point early on in the movie where he brings Oppenheimer into, I think, the AEC, right, or something like that. He's the head of some building that I assume houses like a division of the government that I think is in charge of like the rules.
The secret alphabet boys.
The secret alphabet boys, exactly. That's what it is. And he's like, I'd love to introduce you to Einstein or whatever. And he's like, that's all right. He's my homie. Like, I built the atomic bomb. Of course I know Einstein, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Or whatever. And they walk out there, and then there's this moment where Einstein walks past him, doesn't even look at Robert Downey Jr., and he walks up to him, and he's like, what did you say to him? Like, what happened or whatever? And it's left a mystery. They don't reveal what it is until like literally the end of the movie. And it hits like, fuck. In my head, I feel like I had 3 different satisfying like takeaways from it, but right now I can only think of 2, which is the first one is that like all in one fell swoop, they fucking reveal to you like, yeah, Robert Downey Jr.'s character was a fucking idiot. They were not talking about him at all, and he went on this crazy revenge vendetta over nothing. Something that he thought he was insecure. That is all it was. He was insecure about these geniuses thinking he was talking about them, when in reality, there was nothing to fucking do with the guy. So that's satisfying. And then at the same time, too, it's also a terrifying moment because the line that he says, if I'm not mistaken, is when I came to you with those equations. I'm not going to have it perfectly, but I'm paraphrasing. But he's like, when I came to you with those equations all those years ago, I told you we could start a chain reaction that would never end, that would put the world in danger and would never end, basically. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, I think that's what we did. And then it's just like this horrifying fucking montage of images at the end where you get like quick little flashes of like the hallucinations he had of people like burning and melting away. You see him in the plane with, earlier you saw him imagining himself in the B-52 bomber or whatever it's called, with the, as the pilot described it, a streaking meteor flying across the sky or whatever, but he sees like tons of them, like dozens of them flying by. And then you see all of the trails of the nuclear bombs flying up into the sky. And then you see that's probably CGI actually, is the moment where the fire just slowly begins to swallow the earth. And it's like, oh my fucking God, this is the fucking world we live in, bro. Like that shit's like possible. They are a button push away with probably, some high security key turns or whatever in the midst. But like, it's just such a terrifying moment to end on. That's just like, holy fuck. Like, this is not a fiction. Like, that's our world. Like, that is truly what we live in now. A lot of the very powerful countries in the world have access to this highly destructive thing that we just spent the last hour or 3 hours learning how to fear. Like, everybody's got those bitches. Like, oh, fuck, man. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. It's really good. But yeah, it's just...
And all the people in power are insecure enough to push them.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah. So it's just... It's such a crazy wake-up call, I think, to, like... It hit me, right? Like, one of the songs that I used in the movie that we made with the kids is Don't Stop Me Now. And there's a line that Freddie Mercury has where, like an atom bomb, I'm about to whoa, 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 explode, or whatever. And I was singing that on the way home today. I was listening to it. When that line came up, I was just like... Oof. It's like, oh no. I was like, fuck, we're screwed. It's like, we're singing about this thing as like funny, not funny, but like clever lyrics or whatever. This like ultimately horrifying, destructive force that is very, very present in our modern day that could quite literally destroy the world. Like, oh my God, it's insane, bro. It's such a crazy wake up call of a movie, I think. It's which is like interesting, right? Because I think that like it is such a trippy weekend event because like the Barbenheimer event, I think both has wake the fuck up type of messages just on like different levels. One of them is like a social message versus like I would say Oppenheimer is more of like a
global.
Yeah, like a global, like a governmental warning of like, be fucking careful, bro. Like even the people that, you know, we call the allies, the country that we live in are shady motherfuckers that are willing to do some fucked up, immoral shit in order to get what they want in any capacity, whether that's getting the bomb or getting Oppenheimer out of his security cleared position or whatever it is and stuff like that. Like they do not give a fuck, man. They're just going to do whatever to like maintain the ultimate power that like, you know, they've strived so hard to achieve. And it's so scary. It's so intense, bro. It's so crazy.
Yeah. It's a harrowing ending for sure and it's so interesting that they end on with that conversation and that conversation being the catalyst for like Strauss's like vendetta against Oppenheimer because like in the grand scheme of the movie when you're watching it feels just such like a negligible moment, sure, like in terms of like, oh, like, yeah, okay, this dude just didn't say hi, maybe they just, you know, they were quote unquote friends but had just like a headbutting moment and that's why, you know, so it's easy to just be like, oh, this is a moment to just throw away, but it ending on that and that being the conversation was pretty nuts, especially when you think back to like the face that Einstein was making. Yeah. Like when he came back, no one knows if that's like the actual face. No, that but he in the made, context of the movie. But in the context of the movie, like you're like, damn, like
that fucker just realized that like he gave the okay to this guy to basically build the thing that could blow up the world. Yeah. That's like, yeah, no, it's fucking crazy. It's such a wild thing. Cause I think that like it's the other point of the movie that I got as well is that like the world was vastly different before the atomic bomb was created. And I actually watched like a 8-minute long interview with Oppenheimer like a little bit before I came here or whatever, and they asked him like, you were hoping for, you tend to have like an optimistic view in terms of like how the world is changed post like the atomic bomb or whatever, right? And he's like, I forget exactly what it was. I'm paraphrasing here. I can't quote it, but he says something along the lines of like, yeah, like nowadays, and this is like, could be viewed as like a good thing, I guess, but he's like, yeah, nowadays, and this is in 1965, keep in mind, he's like, there's a direct phone line from the White House to the Kremlin, so that like, if there's some shady shit going on, they're worried like world powers can call each other and discuss like, hey, are you trying to bomb me? Like, no, are you trying to bomb me? And maybe they're lying, maybe they're not, who fucking knows? But the communication is what he's talking about.
Is available.
Opened up. Yeah, that was not a thing that would happen before the world was introduced to a power like this, right? Like something that could, again, quite literally destroy the fucking world. And so like, I don't know. I mean, in some senses, I guess there's certain things you could take away that were developments, whether they're positive or negative is like up to the individual person to decide, but there was some form of moving forward and away from how the world was before. And again, whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm sure varies from person to person, but yeah, it's a trip, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's also a trip thinking about how like his journey started in like, I just want to learn about quantum physics and like, you know, atomic energy and all of this stuff, like atomic energy being a thing, like, oh, there can be like a new power source. And all of a sudden, and then realizing like, oh no, like a crazy ass bomb can be made. Right. And then the time, like it's such a crazy intersecting moments of time where like him being this pioneer of quantum physics and things like that. And then there's this moment in time there, some people, I mean, like, I guess there was a need for the atomic bomb, right? So it's crazy there then being this intersecting moments in history where this stuff needed to happen. And, there happened to be this dude who can get together this Avengers type of team of scientists to make project. To make this shit.
No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I think that's one thing that's like, not brought into the conversation, which it's not necessary to, right? Unless you're explaining it in like an artistic form like this. But like, it's one thing that I enjoy that they explored in this creative look at this like historic event, which is like they are not like villains. Like Oppenheimer is not a villain. We have the retrospect. It's very, very easy with any issue to look back on it in retrospect and be like, yeah, that's bad. Like we look back at slavery and like, that's awful. That's terrible. Why would you ever fucking enslave people? But like, not that it's an excuse, right? I mean, that's not what I'm trying to promote here at all. But it should be stated that like your average person who lived back then during that time doesn't have years and years of living without slavery to understand. They're programmed, they're brainwashed to think that these types of things are okay, right? And in the same sense, it's like, it's very easy now, all these years later, when we see the consequences of everything that happened, to be like, yeah, why the fuck did they build that thing? Like, why would they ever even start making it or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And like a lot of what you hear from him in the movie and then again in like the interviews that I've been watching and stuff is like, he's not necessarily trying to defend the fact that they made like perfect decisions, but he is saying, and in all these hearings and stuff like that, it's what gets all these people frustrated. Is like, at the time, we were in the middle of like one of, if not almost the worst war that like the world has ever seen. Like
the war to end all wars.
The war to end all wars. World War II was fucking nuggets, bro. People were being exterminated by the millions. Like tens of millions of people were dying over like a 6 or 7 year period or something like that, however long it was. So he frames it as like, we're in the middle of fucking war, bro. Like Hitler was campaigning the Nazis across Europe trying to just fucking exterminate people. We did what we thought was best. And that's what frustrates the prosecutor so much. He's like, I am not saying that makes it okay, but I will not stand here and try to say that we didn't do what we thought we needed to do when the time called for it. Because there does come a moment in the movie where like even Oppenheimer becomes conflicted, right? Where they're building the bomb in a race against Germany because another German scientist has like a year-long head start. So
18 months.
18 months, yeah.
Heisenberg?
Yeah, Heisenberg. So they freak out and they're like, we need to build the Avengers really quickly and have them make a nuclear bomb.
Avengers assemble.
The Avengers have to assemble.
Groves is like Nick Fury.
Yeah, 100%. He totally is. Yeah. I guess it was Oppenheimer, Captain America then? Just like a really tortured Captain America?
No, he's Iron Man for
He's
sure.
Iron Man? That's true.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah, for sure. You're right.
It's fucking, what's his name? Whose character is it? I think it's Josh. Is it Josh Hartnett's character? Ernest Lawrence? Is that the American fucking scientist?
I don't remember. There's so many names.
But the good-looking dude with the fucking, the American guy, had glasses on.
I think I know who you're talking about. I have a mental image in my head. I can't remember what.
He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But yeah, I think that's
he's
like
he's
the Captain America.
Okay, yeah,
he's the
the American hero,
the stereotypical American guy.
American GI.
I believe in America.
I believe in.
We're gonna vote.
Yeah.
And that was so. I was trying to explain it to my homies yesterday, like my friend and Connor. Like that was so funny to me that he was just like.
Yeah,
American, like he was just straight up an American ass dude.
Yeah, I did like that. I think I know which line you're talking about, where he's like, "Whoa, what? You don't believe in like this or that issue or whatever?" He's like, "Nope, I believe in it. I just want to vote about it. I don't want to talk about it." He's like, "I'll vote for it. I don't want to fucking discuss it. Like, I'm here for it. Just don't make me talk about this shit, bro." He's like, you're right, very stereotypical American guy for sure.
Fuck, was that who the dude was? I can't fucking remember.
But yeah, they're just they're
that was that dude.
They're in a race.
Theory will only take you so far.
Yeah, that's a good line. Yeah, yeah, but they're in a race. They're trying to beat Hitler and the Nazis to creating the most destructive superweapon of all time, and then the Nazis lose, and they continue to build the bomb, or are in the midst of losing. Right, Hitler's dead at that point in the movie. And even Oppenheimer starts questioning. He's like, weren't we building this to like drop it on Germany? Like, why are we going to keep making this? And they're like, well, we need to like really fucking end the war and send a message to Japan, like as opposed to like, from what I've heard again in the interviews, the alternative from what they knew with the information they had at the time would lead to the slaughter of tens of millions more of both Japanese and American soldiers if they just continued to fight the war, right? And so again, in retrospect, this sounds fucking crazy, but they're alternative was, no, we spent all these years and money and time building this thing. We're going to fucking drop it on them and it'll end the war. There's no fucking way they're going to try to come after us if we show them that we have this power. And it'll send a message to the rest of the world of basically don't fuck with America or we'll blow you the fuck up, which is kind of the motto of the country, I would say. But
you're like, we have the bigger cock.
Yeah, straight up, 100%. It's just a giant dick contest. Yeah. America is constantly being like, nope, look at mine. It's bigger. We figured out how to make it bigger again. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's such a trip to like see someone take on the taboo conversations surrounding these things. I think it's very, like, from what we learned in school, or at least what I remember learning in school, which is not much.
Yeah, I was going to say, public school was a fucking
blur.
Motherfucker.
But from what I sort of kind of remember, they pretty clearly tell you, like, they dropped the bomb and that was bad. It killed a lot of people. Like, maybe somewhere in the lesson, I don't remember, they tell you, like, this is what they thought they had to do at the time or whatever. But again, it's like,
I think it also depends on who you have.
That's true. Yeah, your teacher might, 100%.
Some people would be like, yeah, America, we did this.
Yeah.
And that was the greatest thing we've ever done.
Yeah, exactly. And some people might be a little bit more liberal and whatever. You're right. Totally. It depends on your teacher. But the point is that, like, to see somebody in, again, both of these movies, what an event, like, on two different sides of the spectrum. To see two directors who, in the face of a culture that is very willing to call you out for anything, which is, I think, a good thing, right? Like, we should hold each other accountable. I'm not trying to complain against that thing in any way, but it is real, right? Anything you say gets put on the chopping block nowadays if you say it publicly, especially if you're like a famous person. And so to have two people who so like balls to the wall are just like, no, we're going to talk about these sensitive subjects and we're going to make movies that have very strong opinions on those subjects, and we're not going to pull punches, and we're going to tell it to you clearly, and we are going to push the theme of this movie as what this movie is about. It's such a fucking trip, dude. It's such a crazy, like, it's such a crazy event for sure to have both of these movies come out back to back. And it's also just like, so I heard somebody say, like, they watched the movies back to back and it's like jumping from reality to reality. Cause like Barbie is this very non-realistic, filled with choreographed dances and everything's perfect kind of, even in the regular world, things are perfect. Like not in theme, but in execution, right? Like everybody runs the same and everything, you know what I mean? And whatever. So it's like, it's a very stylized version of the real world versus this like very realistic take on, you know, a drama type of thing or whatever. But I think that are, again, still doing the same thing in a sense. Yeah. Of, again, being like, this is our opinion on this touchy subject. Fucking deal with it. Watch this shit, bro. Like, it's good shit, man. That's what movies should do. That's some good art right there, man.
I like both of these movies, like hardcore digs on like Western ideals of like, in Barbie, it was, you have this whole crew of men running this big corporation that sells this toy that is supposed to empower women. Yeah. Right? And it's like, okay, look at the capitalization of like feminist like ideals and stuff like that by men and stuff like that. And on the Oppenheimer side, like when they were talking about, we have a list of 12 places that we can blow up. Actually 11. Yeah. Like, we're going to save Kyoto because me and my wife like to vacation there. It's very nice. Dude, it's like a very like Western imperialistic type fucking like, hey, we're going to save this just because we think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, these movies were literally like, fuck the patriarchy and fuck the government, bro. Yeah, I was like, fuck yeah, these are good shit, dog. Come after me, FBI. Fuck you.
It was fucking great. Man, it's good. And they're like, you know, it's very clever digs where like they are like in your face. Yeah. Right? Like,
Barbie much more so, I would say.
Yeah, but it's like, it's not unrealistic.
No. You know? They're not making shit up. It's all based in fact. It's all based in real things that everybody's accepted.
Yeah, and like with Oppenheimer, like you can straight up see someone being like, hey, like a high like level government official who has the power to be like, yeah, we're gonna blow this place up, or we're not gonna blow this place up.
Yeah,
being like, oh, I have vacation here. This is nice.
Yeah.
And like, oh yeah, it has some cultural relevance to the people of Japan. So we're gonna save that part. Like it's very, terrible. It feels very real. You know?
It does. I was so fucking grossed out during that part. I'm not gonna lie. I did not laugh. I heard a bunch of people in the theater laugh, and I was just like, oh no, that was terrible.
It was weird because I would say the one thing about this movie, there was some weird parts where it was like, damn, they really just cracked a joke. Like here,
Yeah, which I think is good because they almost feel like checkpoints in the movie, like in the same way that like, have you ever played like a Dark Souls game before?
No.
Okay. I won't explain it too heavily. I'm sure you know what Dark Souls is about. But if you die, you fucking die and you lose all your shit. And the only way to save your progress is to find these things called bonfires, which are warm lights where you can actually save. You can't just pause the game and save. You can't even pause the game. You'll fucking die.
Yeah.
But yeah. But that's what it felt like to me in this really intense, heavy, anxiety-filled movie about like the dangers of the fucking weapons of mass destruction that we have in our world. There's like these little checkpoints where they're like, hey, you made it this far. Here's a good laugh.
Make sure we're good.
Yeah. Really quickly or whatever. So yeah, a lot of them were okay. Like most of the points that made me laugh like worked for me. That was just one in particular where I was just like, oh God, that was mad. That was not that the joke was bad, but it's just like, again, it's just so accurate that it's just like, oh man, that's fucked up, man. This fucker's a bitch.
Yeah. I will say one of my favorite moments was Emily Blunt when they're in the like interview, when they're in that tight room.
Yeah, dude.
And like you think she's gonna be this very timid, like shy person who, when they're really trying to ask her those hard hitting questions, she's gonna crumble.
Yeah. Well, because for the rest of the movie, she spends it being pretty unstable. Like she's a drunk mom.
Yeah, I mean, and you have the scenes before that where they're describing when Oppenheimer met with fucking that chick Jean again, and
that fucks her up too.
Yeah, that fucks her up a lot, as it would any other person if 100%. They're just sitting there. Like, granted, she did know that beforehand, so it's not like he like didn't tell her.
No, but it's different to have your dirty laundry on display in a room full of suits.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you have this really strong, powerful moment where the prosecutor, who is a fucking dick the whole time, but shout out to that actor because he pulled that off awesome.
That's the dude from Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. Oh, that's fucking right. Yeah.
I think he's in the second one.
Yeah. It's when fucking they kicked out, what's his name? Fucking...
Caesar?
No, when freaking... James Franco wasn't in the front because he was in James Franco was in the first one.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's just not in the second one.
Well, I presumably died from the simian flu.
But okay, yeah. But he's just like all of a sudden not in the second.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah.
But that was a really great moment because she flips on him.
Yep.
When he's trying to really grill her and ask these questions, and she's like,
his ass up.
No, but I just don't like how you ask. Like, I don't like how you phrased it.
Yeah, like your phrasing was wrong.
Fuck yeah, that was such like a fuck yeah moment, bro.
Well, because she just turned all of his. Because the dude is they explain it later, right? Rami Malek is another, I think, unsung hero in that part. Those two had
one of those characters that he just shows up randomly,
just fucks some shit up real quick.
He shows up earlier in the movie, like you just meet him like randomly, like, oh hey, there's this person, and then you're just like, oh, he's just never there, and you're like, all right, cool. They just got him for this one random part. That's awesome. Get a check, my brother.
Yep.
But then he comes back, and you're like, oh shit,
it's pivotal. Yeah. Yep. No, it's really good. It's like, just what I really liked about those two moments is like they feel the same. Based in like two different things, right? Because like you cheer on and you, or presumably you're satisfied by like the Rami Malek scene because somebody's finally speaking the truth in everything going on in the, I don't know, Oppenheimer trial, I'm going to call it. The people sitting around in a room debating at each other. There's a lot of lying happening, whether it's from Strauss to the U.S. government or the people interrogating to Oppenheimer's, I guess. It's just a lot of fucking lies. It's a lot of bullshit lies. And it's satisfying to see the game be won in a way, or at least a battle within the game won on two different spectrums. Because on the Rami Malek side, he's just like, here's the fucking truth, bitch. That fool's a fucker who has
a vendetta
against Oppenheimer. That's why all this shit has happened or whatever. And then to see Kitty Oppenheimer play the game and beat them at their own fucking game of like, it must have been 17 years ago. Or was it 16? No, maybe it was 15. Well, you just thought your nose it. Yeah, exactly. Like just like running the circles around like, you want to interrogate me, bitch? Let's fucking go, dog. Like bring it on, motherfucker. And just kicks his ass, man. It's so good.
Yeah,
so
and
good.
just being like, oh, you want to be technical about like, oh, I'm part of this party, I'm part of that party. Well, I'm going to tell you like, okay, yeah, I was part of that party, but
technically
speaking, if we're going to be, pulling out all the facts here, I haven't been part of that shit for 16 years. No, 17. No, 18 years.
I
so
remember.
Exactly. Yeah. So what do you? Yeah, that was such an awesome moment.
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
And again, just like the meeting of great writing and then just superb acting and just great directing,
great visuals. Too.
Just
movie's
everything.
Beautiful. Yeah. No, yeah, it's a pretty damn good movie. I want to go see it again. I think it for sure sits in my top 5 of this year so far. I think it might even be in my top 3.
Oh dang! Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think both of these movies for sure are within my top 10, 1,000% of this year.
So far,
but I need to go back and see all the movies that I've seen this year because, like, I need to all the movies that I've watched this year. I need to watch again if we're gonna do a top 10 at the end of the year. Because
we should.
It's like
same as last year.
Yeah. Because Air is for sure up there. Like,
I still need to see that. Yeah,
dude, Air is
good shit.
Like it is very
Matt Damon.
Like it is very similar to like Oppenheimer. In the sense that it's the story of something that you already know, but it's really digging deep on like the characters that took place.
Yeah, that made that shit happen.
Yeah, and it was like I made the comment like last night when we were walking out of the movie of like we were making the joke like, oh, they didn't even show like when they actually like bombed like Japan or whatever. And I was like, oh, it's kind of like an Air when they don't show like Michael Jordan's face.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's like you don't need to see it. You know what happened. Like obviously it would be pretty crazy in a movie where they're just like, oh yeah, let's show this horrific thing in the history of humanity. Yeah. But it is the same sense of like, you know what happened. You don't need to see it. You know Michael Jordan. You don't need to see it. It takes you out of like
what they're trying to do with the movie.
what they're trying to do with the movie.
Yeah, no, that moment I wasn't lost on me. I really enjoyed it. I didn't need to see the bomb go off in Japan. Either one. Didn't need to. I liked the perspective that they took of the anxiety of being hundreds of thousands or thousands of miles away, just waiting for a phone call or to hear on the radio, like, what the fuck did they do with this horrible thing that I built? Like the anxiety that happens from that scene, I think is much more impactful than just seeing the bomb go off again. Because they already had the event of it going off for the first time.
Yeah, and then just you hearing like, oh, this shit happened. And then seeing the different like reactions from everybody. Yeah. Right? Like not knowing whether to be joyful, because like, okay, we ended this war that would have killed like a crazy amount of people. But in order to do so, we had to kill a crazy amount of people. People that we don't know, that were innocent, that we don't know.
A lot of innocent people died when that happened. Yeah, no, 1,000%. So yeah, it's a trippy movie, man. Yeah, it's pretty fucking wild, but definitely very, very heavy. Like I said, I have not done the quote unquote Barbenheimer experience. From what I could say, having seen them separately, I would recommend watching them separately.
I think if you do it in the same weekend, that's the Barbenheimer experience.
Yeah,
I think that is the whole thing. Like,
it's just not the double feature.
Yeah, because like I think that is. I mean, that's just the whole thing. Like, I think that's what's so great about this weekend is I can't remember the last time I was like, oh, like I'm gonna go see 2 movies in this weekend.
Yeah,
and it's like I said, it's just good for. It's good for everything that's going on because it's showing how much people value writers, actors, and everyone that's within the whole movie making experience.
Sphere, yeah.
Like, everyone's important. It's not just like all you bigwigs up at the top can go fucking suck a big fat dick. Because what you guys are doing right now to the actors and everybody is
booty.
It's booty. It's atrocious. It's like, like the fact that the head of Disney made... between 2018 and 2022 made close to pretty much $500 million, and 87% of writers and actors can't even make $26,000 a year.
Yeah, and what's crazy too is like I saw a list. Bob Iger is like number like 5 or 6 on the list of like highest salaries.
Made like
CEOs.
200 million within those 5 years.
There's like a whole list of people who just make like vast amounts of money.
In the top 5 of people that have made the most of like heads of like executives of studios that have made like a shit ton of money within 2018 and 2022. In that top 5, there's 2 from Netflix, and a big thing from Netflix is like, oh, we don't have enough money to pay fucking people. That's fucking nuts.
That's all going there. Yeah.
They just canceled like Masters of the Universe or whatever.
Oh, the live action movie.
Yeah,
I saw that.
and that was they were putting $30 million into that shit.
Yeah.
You can't tell me you don't have money to put into.
If you're gonna be canceling projects like that. Yeah. No, I was having a conversation with my grandpa about that because like I have like 2 differing opinions on the matter, which is the easy one, obviously, that everybody, I think, well, I won't say everybody, but I would like to hope that like a vast majority of people are rallying behind, which is like, yeah, fuck that. Don't let people get underpaid. Don't let like AI take over these jobs and everything like that, right? And then I have a more pessimistic view on it, which is, what are we actually doing to stop these things from happening, right? Because it's all well and good to put a protesting message on your Instagram, but what would really actually do something is unsubscribing from Netflix or stopping your subscription to Disney Plus or this and that or whatever. And I can't help but feel like there is more responsibility on us as consumers than we think. We imagine that they are evil people. I'm not trying to say that they're not, but we are unfortunately complacent in going along with their evil machinations, because I personally have not stopped my subscription to these things. But I can't help.
It just depends on what the next steps and everything are.
Oh yeah, no,
right
100%. Yeah,
because right now we're at the moment where like, you know, everyone's just first started striking. Like there's a lot of struck companies out there where like, if you are people within that union of SAG-AFTRA, like you should not be working with those companies. And if you are not within that union, but you are on the side of the writers and you are on the side of the actors and everything like that, then if companies like a Disney or like a Netflix come to you with deals of like, hey man, do you want to promote this, promote that, then you shouldn't be taking those.
No,
you know?
100%.
So it just depends on like what the next steps are, because I agree. I think like depending on where it goes, because I think the studios, from what I've read, are very firm on like, hey man, like we're good, we'll let these fools sit out for however long, you know.
Well, because they don't care about the quality of their content, so they're fine with letting AI build all of their products. They don't give a shit, because quite frankly, again, they know us well enough to know that we just want to spend our fucking money. So like, if the next Avengers movie was done by AI, I highly doubt it would just all of a sudden make no money. People would probably still line up and pay billions and billions of dollars collectively to see that shit. Like, it's part of the brainwashing they've put us under, you know? We like to spend our money on their things.
But like, if the next steps are like, hey bro, you gotta cancel, I'll cancel my subscriptions 1000%, because like, this is why I say weekends like this are so important, because they're showing what is important to making a movie. And I think, at least my gripe with a lot of studios or a lot of things in the past is that they're not focusing on what is actually important in the movie.
Sure.
They're just focusing on what they can put in the movie to make them the most money.
Yeah.
Right? And what can bring the most people to the box office in the opening weekend, whether that's like cameos from people or that's just like good marketing. You know what I'm saying? And then once you finally get to the movie, like, you're just disappointed, right? There's been I would say not a vast amount, but like there have been a handful of movies where I'm like, damn, I'm excited to go watch this because of what's been promoted and blah, 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 whatever. And then you get there and it's just disappointing what you go and watch, you know? So like I said, if the next steps are to like cancel your subscriptions, I'm gonna fucking do that shit. It's gonna save me money. You know what I'm saying?
I believe that you would do that. My question is how much of the general public would.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my real concern, right? Is it's like vocalizing support is important. I'm not trying to say don't go out there and don't post on your shit. Don't do that. Do that. That is important to get the message out there. But make sure you are also willing to take those further steps should they come along. Because it's like, again, it doesn't matter how much money a CEO versus an actor makes or anything like that. That money comes from us. It comes from nowhere else other than the consumer. That is where these billions and trillions of dollars that are being discussed right now come from. So if there is really some kind of change that needs to happen, in my mind, ultimately, is cut off the fucking flow and reset.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
hey man, I have a bunch of DVDs here. I'll go back to just watching hard.
sure,
I'll go back to watching
Yeah,
hard copies of fucking of movies. You know,
because my mind goes to the same thing when it comes to AI, right? Everybody and their mother is complaining about AI taking over, but where the fuck did it come from? All of the millions and billions and trillions of hours of our use on electronic devices that they have been able to compile to become these AI things, you know? So it's like, it's just these moments in time I think are important for us to realize that there is an innate power that we have as a collective society. We are not passive people that these things are just happening to. These things are not just happening to us. We are allowing them to happen. And so until we as consumers put a stop to our own personal issues and misgivings and maybe failures, if you even want to call them that, in terms of trying to combat the system, they're going to keep fucking making money off of us. Maybe SAG-AFTRA will get a better deal. Maybe the writer's strike will get a better deal and they'll start getting paid more. That's wonderful. I would love if that happened. But in 10 or 15 years, the same exact thing is going to happen again. And the CEOs are going to start taking more of the money that we are giving them and giving less of it to these people. And there will inevitably be another strike and this and that. It goes back to the conversation I told you, which is like, I just hate the fact that art is monetized. I don't like that we spend money on these types of things or whatever.
Yeah, we'll see. Because like the last time something like this where the writers and the actors actually struck together was, I think it was like around like 1960 or something like that. And the big thing was like people not getting residuals. It's very similar to like what's going on right now, where back then people were not getting residuals on like movies that were being aired on television and stuff like that. So like a lot of movies were getting aired on TV because like that show was becoming
TV
way
was
more
new,
popular. You know, people were getting TVs at their home and stuff like that. So
see, sorry, go ahead, finish.
But I was just going to say, it's very similar to now, like where streaming is becoming super big. Like people aren't getting the residuals they deserve.
It's
you
new.
know, and so that was a time where writers, actors, they struck together. And so I hope in my heart of hearts, like I really hope that this is very similar to that. Like after they're going to start to get paid better, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that is my hope as well. I just want to put the idea out there that maybe we can look at it a little more broadly this time and take that particular instance of like, fuck, okay, we did this once and it still happened again. What can we do different this time in order to make sure that there is lasting change that happens as opposed to a Band-Aid? Because I bet, people like the CEOs we're talking about right now will probably come under fire for the next 10, 20 years until they either resign or die, because a lot of them are old fuckers. But even if SAG-AFTRA wins, they're still going to be making a lot of fucking money. Like, they're still going to be making more than any actor, writer, anybody that gets paid in these scenarios and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Unfortunately, it's always going to be they're making more.
No, 100%.
Like,
that's how it is. You know what I told my grandpas? I was like, let's just meet and let's take all of these things that are happening. Let's meet in the middle. Let's take the money that is being poured into CEOs' salaries and let's spread that evenly to make a livable wage amongst all people. Because you know that I feel that stars get paid way too much money for what they do. An actor...
That's why Tom Cruise isn't the most vocal about.
No, because he gets billions of dollars for spitting on camera. It doesn't fucking matter, right? So...
Fool could take a shit.
And he'll get $1 million. So that's the other thing too. It should be said, right? That a lot of... Not the majority, but a lot of actors benefit from the system that is play right now. And even some writers might as well too. Some of them are probably, you know, relatively rich for making super big budget movies and stuff like that. Not all of them, not the working class ones, but you take all of the money pool that's going into the majority of all of these 1%ers in Hollywood and you spread that evenly among everyone so that no particular person gets vast amounts different. Because I feel like there's probably enough in the community to evenly spread things so that everybody can live off of their work. You might not get to live in a mansion with fucking property in a different country and a vacation home over here and this and that. Fuck you for that shit. But everybody can live. And then you take the AI and you embrace that shit and you make that motherfucker do the CEO's job. Because that's all they are. CEOs are computers. They divide up numbers and they decide what are the best things for these numbers. And yeah, you can say like, oh, well, there's a human instinct aspect. No, fuck you. An AI can calculate all of the different possibilities of what would and wouldn't make money, and it comes with none of the emotional baggage. It comes with none of the physical debilitations that come from being a human. It can just make those decisions.
Damn.
And it doesn't cost anything. It's a fucking computer.
That's very true.
Take the AI, and that's what you use it for. And you let the creatives do what they do.
Yeah, that's true. There was it's very similar to what you said. Like there was a clip from the Joe Rogan podcast where he had David Cho on there. And he's like, yeah, bro. He's like, I fired my lawyer. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, why'd you do that? He's like, cause like my lawyer cost a hell of money, right?
Yeah.
Asked my lawyer a question one day. Went to ChatGPT, asked the same exact question to ChatGPT, and it gave me pretty much the same exact answer that my lawyer gave me.
See, there you go.
Yeah. And he's like, so now I can just, like, granted, I don't think everyone should just go on ChatGPT
for law advice.
and for law advice, right?
Yeah.
But in that instance where this man was paying just this dude a shit ton of money, where like lawyers, anybody that gets paid like a percentage of like what goes on, right? They're going to milk you for as many percentage.
As much as possible.
As much as they can, right? So if you can cut that out, more power to you. But that's very similar to that, like, you know, there is basic things that go down that happen, right? And, you know, I don't know everything. I don't know what a CEO actually does, right? But I imagine like there are with a lot of things, that there are basic things that happen that can get cut out from stuff like that. From AI being like a tool and things, you know. So.
100%, man.
But again, I don't know.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah, but again, support the actors, support the writers. If you are someone who watches a lot of TV or watches a lot of movies like we do, this is definitely something that I think you should be aware about.
Yeah, stay informed.
Yeah, stay informed, because these people that are protesting right now work at the expense of your happiness and stuff like that, right? If these shows and everything like that make you happy, if your happiness is, you know, just sitting down in your bed and watching your favorite show, like a lot of people work very hard to make that shit come to fruition, and a lot of people don't get paid enough.
Yeah,
you know,
to make it happen.
So, yeah, and I think if you're someone that is a binger or just watches shit a lot, be aware of what's going on.
Yeah, 100%.
Because this is very important. Very, very important. This is a pivotal moment in the history of Hollywood, for sure. In movie making and cinema or anything. This is a very pivotal moment, for sure. But yeah, what would you rate Oppenheimer?
A SAG-AFTRA strike out of Hollywood. No, I would give Oppenheimer a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10?
Yeah.
Cool. I think I would give it, like, I think the same as Barbie. I think I'd give it an 8.5.
Okay.
8.5.
Yeah, I enjoyed Oppenheimer a little more than I did Barbie.
I would say I enjoyed Barbie a little bit more.
Okay.
They're both very enjoyable, but I liked the fun that came along with Barbie.
I like the sadness.
The sadness.
Yeah, I was there for the
dread, the existential.
Yeah,
dread.
I really was, and I think I don't think that's a surprise, because I think both of us had the reverse of which one we wanted to see first and then second, which is funny because we actually did it.
The exact opposite of what we wanted to
Because I believe you wanted to watch Oppenheimer then Barbie, and I wanted to watch Barbie then Oppenheimer, and that was reversed. Yeah. So, you know, things shake out a little different than you expect.
But it was cool. I enjoyed the Barbie to Oppenheimer experience. It wasn't, I don't think it was as heavy and as, like it is, like I said, it is a harrowing ending. It is very scary when you sit down there, when you sit with it and you let it kind of soak in, and you think about everything that dude had to deal with as a, you know, as someone who created a weapon of mass destruction. Yeah, like it is very heavy, but I didn't come out of it as like as sad and like the world's gonna fucking end, man, as much as I thought I would have. Not that I thought I was going to be like this super depressed person after, and like nothing matters, man, because at the push of a button we could all be gone, brother. But I still felt like the weight of everything. Like I was still like, damn, like this is a lot.
This is the real world we live in.
I think before this I understood that was for sure a possibility, that like things like that could happen, because I've watched a cool amount of documentaries on shit, and I've seen a lot of shit on that, so I'm like, okay, this shit could just happen. But yeah, it was just nuts to see how it all came to be.
Most definitely. Crazy. Yeah, I think I probably not as heavy as like the hype was saying it, but I definitely was I was caught in my thoughts for the entirety of the rest of the night last night. I couldn't think about anything else. I was just stuck like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Couldn't stop thinking about the movie. Still can't stop thinking about the movie. There were times in Barbie where I was thinking about Oppenheimer still when I was watching that today. Like, seriously, like, that's a good one. Like I said, I think that hits my top 3 movies so far this year. I very, very, very much enjoyed it. I liked it quite a bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. Anything more to say to the people
I don't think
before we
so.
peace out on them for a couple weeks?
No, I don't think so, man. We hope that, you enjoy what we do and that you'll miss us for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to miss doing the podcast, but like you said, we have some slightly revamped plans going forward in terms of how we're going to tackle this thing as a whole. So I think a little break before we do that is going to be nice.
Yeah. It's going to be a good time. But yeah, guys, that was episode number 67.
Boom.
Like we were saying, go and check out these movies in the theaters because it's a great fucking experience.
Yeah.
It is something that I've been loving the return to the theaters. This is something like,
it's
especially
nice movies again.
This past year has brought the joy back to going to the movies.
I think I've gone to the movies this year more than I have
in a few years for sure.
A long time, maybe ever.
Maybe
honestly.
ever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that is all thanks to this podcast.
100%. Yeah, 1000%. Yeah, no, for sure.
And I love it, man. The wallet might not like it sometimes, but hey, I enjoy going to the movies and experiencing stuff like this and going with the homies because this is stuff that I love. This is stuff that I've loved since I was a kid.
It is definitely hard when 10 movies come out in like 2 months that you all want to see, but yes, I agree. It is worth it. I love it.
Yeah, guys, that was episode number 67. I hope you guys enjoyed. You know what to do. Go and follow us on Instagram at TH4TV, TOHIGH4TV. The number 4 written out in the symbol, not the number, or not the number written out, not FOR, not FOUR, not FORE. Like
the symbol for 4.
Symbol, DJ symbol.
You do like a symbol roll sample that's actually saying symbol, so it's like symbol.
Like a reverse one.
Yeah. Symbol. Yes.
But yeah, guys, if you didn't catch it earlier, I am your host, Ryan.
This is your co-host, Daniel.
And we are motherfucking out of here.
Peace.